All right, we are live, and I wanted to have this conversation with my community. I can't even tell if it's live or not. Hold on. Hold on. How come I can't tell through the Okay. What's up, y'all? Hold on. Let me see. How can I see the comments and stuff? All right, let me open up another tab real quick. Let me see. Let me get a minute. Okay, let me see. Let me go to YouTube. Oh, I am live. Hey, y'all. Oh, I am live. Hey, y'all. Okay, I got it. Okay. Hi, Blasian King. Hello. How are you doing? Thank you for being here. So we're gonna get into it. So I feel like all of us have been part of like different online communities. And I feel like all of them get toxic at one point. Like me, like my background was I was part of a beauty community. You know how the whole beauty community on YouTube, I was really into that at one point, like little makeup tutorials, and there was a lot of big YouTubers like just focusing like, and then like that community got destroyed, right? Like people were like, "Oh, people don't want to be associated with that community," and people just they fall off. They don't want to have anything to, hey girl, come up here. Let me see. I'm gonna send an invite link if y'all want to come up here and talk about it, you know. So yeah, I was talking about my background about like how the beauty community, and I was watching a bunch I love podcasts. So I watched a bunch of podcasts about how people they were talking about they don't want to be associated with the beauty community anymore because of the drama. And it kind of the golden sphere, like how a lot of people like they wanted to disassociate and leave like the golden sphere because of like, oh, this community got destroyed by drama. So this has happened in other online communities. I'm focusing on online communities because that's what we are. And have y'all ever been a part of like an online community that didn't get toxic? Like, has there any been like any like positive like online communities? Like, what can we learn from those type of communities so we could like apply it to the golden sphere so we could be like a flourishing awesome community? Because I feel like every even like my spiritual communities I've been a part of, they've got toxic too. Like they're supposed to be all about like high vibrations and peace, love, positive vibes and all that. They got toxic too because humans are gonna be humans. So I just don't know what it takes to like make a non-toxic like I think we're doing good though. I think we're trying to move forward. Like we like had like a lot of downtime, people. Oh, okay, cool. Thank you. Thank you, Future is Golden. So I think all of us have been kind of chilling out and kind of like, self-reflecting and looking back about like what do we want out of our community? What do we want out of this space? It's supposed to be a space for like mixed race people or whatever. And why is that so like I don't know. People feel so threatened by that for some reason. Like it's like we're not supposed to have that. Like they don't want us to have our own space or people don't but they don't want us in their space at the same time. So it's weird. So it's real weird, y'all. I just want to talk about it with anybody who want to come up here. I was in the gaming community. Oh, I know the gaming community got toxic. Gaming community, they be messy too. Oh, I don't know about the animation community. Oh, the creepypasta community. I love what's his name? He tells like scary so I love like that. I love all that stuff, yeah. They seem like chill. I don't know. They seem kind of chill. I don't know if they freaking get into drama or anything. Are they dramatic? I know the gaming community. They be in some shit. So yeah, I want to know about different like online communities we've all been a part of, and what was the best one? Like, what was one that you guys really like? Was like I don't know. It's always the people, like the people's mindsets that's gonna make or break a community. What do y'all think? If y'all wanna talk about it, I'm trying to get some of y'all up here. Y'all need to come up here. Let me invite. Blaze, I wish you would come up here sometime. I like that interview. Remember that interview we did together? I really like that. Oh, hi, Reese from Philly. How are you doing? Thank you for being here. We're talking about what builds a community versus what destroys an online community. So, if y'all got any thoughts or opinions, come up and share them with me. I want to know everything. I want to know. I think it's really interesting, it's so interesting. Because a lot of people, this is what we got right now, and we got to make the best of it. We got to make it work. I was a nerd a long time ago, and now, oh my God, you're hilarious. Best of both worlds. That's what's up. The interview was great. I loved it too. I want to talk more with you. I want you to come up. I want to no, somebody in my comments was a nerd. Not me. I like nerds though. I love nerds. Sorry, that was my son asking if I was a nerd. Y'all can't be having me up here talking to myself. Like, I need somebody to come up here. Somebody, anybody, come save me. 'Cause I can't keep a conversation going with myself. Like, I can keep a conversation going with somebody else, but me just sitting here talking, like, that's what I like to do, y'all. I just like to talk to people. So I have some mess in my. Or you can join the Discord. Yes, join the Discord. Let me find the remote. Oh, it's not on StreamYard. Oh, come to my Future is Golden. Go join the voice call in my Discord. So you could join the okay? Yeah, go join the voice chat in my Magic Mulata server. Here. I'm feeling better though. I'm happy we get to talk about it. I was feeling kind of like weird about it, but I think that it's cool and interesting to know you guys' the backgrounds and stuff. The leaders of the community set the tone for exactly. We don't have a leader. We don't have any leaders. Do we have leaders in our community? I don't think we have any like real leaders. The leaders in our community set the tone of the community. If everybody focuses on the drama, there will be toxic. If you don't weed out toxic people out, facts. But who are the leaders? Like, I know we got bigger content creators. I don't know
What's
if they
up? Welcome
consider
to
themselves
Discord.
leaders. Oh, hello, who's there? Hi, Future is Golden. Hi, beautiful. How are you
Hey,
doing?
I
Hi.
don't really know. I'm looking at the screen.
It's
So,
kind of weird. I'm kind of doing this like weird. Okay. If you want to see
so,
the oh yeah, go ahead.
no, I'm saying, can you see me in the show?
Yes. Actually, let me add you. Let me see you. Yeah, you're in here. You're in here, girl.
Okay,
Yeah. We live, girl. Yes.
okay, yeah,
What's
because I'm like, I can't hear myself, see myself. So,
Let me
I'm trying
see.
to. Oh no, this better. This is better.
Okay, cool. You could see yourself and everything. You could
Yeah,
this is
I can see myself in the Discord, and I can see. Well, I can't see myself on screen, but I can see myself in the Discord.
awesome. Yeah. Let me say hi to y'all. I gotta show y'all my hair today. Hold on. Oh, and I got this little cute little hold on. Oh, look. Hold on. Where am I? Turn on my camera. Let me say hi to y'all. Look at my hair today. She's freaking growing, okay? She's flowing today. Yeah, she want to come through for me today. You know? So,
Oh, okay. It
somebody
looks
still got
good.
a biracial afro. My biracial afro. So I'm like,
Yeah,
okay.
it looks good.
So yeah, I just want to say hi to you guys. I love y'all. My little cute little background. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
All
So
right, let me
how
try.
do you so you wanted to talk about like building a community.
Yeah, like what builds like online communities versus what like destroys them. Because I think what are some like online communities you've been a part of like before you found a golden sphere that you thought was good or a lot that you thought was bad? Like what are the good? I feel like all of them get toxic. Like I don't know if I've ever been part of an online community that didn't get toxic at one point. Because a lot of people like to blame it on the fact that we're mixed, like, oh, they're just some dysfunctional mixed people. But it's like that's everywhere in everybody. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's hard.
I well, I think what happens too is there's always confusion over our identity and they try to pin it on us, but
Exactly.
I don't really think it's us. I feel like when you're mixed, you're mixed. So,
Hey, simple as that.
unless you're in something that directly relates to like Jamaican people or you know, African Americans, like unless you're talking directly on those topics, a lot of the times you go into like a mixed space, but
Mhm.
I feel like they want to be able to come into the space and kind of, dictate how
Yes.
things go in this space.
Exactly. Is that them trying to be like a leader of this space? Because like somebody said, do you agree with this comment? Somebody said that the leaders of this space like set the tone for the space. Like the leaders of the community set the tone with the community. So people, I don't know, there's a difference from people just trying to like dictate. Like we don't want dictatorship in this art space, you know what I'm saying? There's people who are like genuine leaders who actually like have what's better, or people trying to force their ideology. Like that'll never work out. Like people are very, come on, we're people are rebellious. If you try to force anything on anybody, people are gonna rebel and be like, no, you can't, because we have free will. You know what I'm saying? That'll just destroy the community anymore, even more, when people try to dictate and force their views and ideologies on others. When it's like, instead of
Um,
trying to understand people's views and ideologies, and trying to find people who align with their values better, and then they could, build a community because you guys share the same values, instead of trying to force others who don't share the same values and views as you. And that don't work. It don't work, you know. What you think?
I think my response to that would be leadership is a skill.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're
Absolutely.
forcing something, then you're not leading. If
Le-
you have to do it by force, then it's not
yeah,
really leadership. But in
yeah.
terms of will people follow if you have, a salient message for their community, they will.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
it's just that, some people can be good at leading, but maybe they have the wrong message. So to me, that's a big problem in online communities because like you know, um if you look at certain community issues, like even if you look at like let's say like white, patriotic kinds of communities, and you
Yeah.
look at Black YouTube, because I don't want to talk about one side more than the other, but if you look at Black YouTube, you kind of see them leading each other in the wrong direction a lot,
Mm-hmm.
because people have leadership, but that doesn't mean they're leading people in the right direction. So it's a balance between being a good leader and then having the right message, you
Exactly.
know?
So it should be about me. I think it's always about results. Like, what are the results of your message? Is this bringing me something positive and good that I want into my life if I'm following your message? Or is this bringing me something like negative? So, like for me, who I would look at like as leaders almost in this, even though I don't know if they claim to be leaders, but I would, okay, like Caesar Cannon. He said he didn't want to be a leader though, because he said he didn't really Angry Biracial. He said he didn't want to be a leader though, and multiracial and Golden Goddess. Like those are the kind of the people who I've viewed, because they've inspired me. They've helped me like embrace my biracial identity, and they've helped me, like they've given me good results. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I kind of view them as like leaders in our like little community. I don't know if they want it. I think we need to really like I wish people could claim, because a lot of people don't want to be a leader. Like they say no, we're just content creators. You know what I'm saying? And I respect that. It's like, leadership, it's a lot of responsibility. The more responsibility you have, responsibility and power go hand in hand. And people are quick to abuse power too. If you want to know who somebody truly is, you give them a little bit of power and see what they do with it. You know what I'm saying? So once you get like a little bit of influence, a little bit of clout, what are you going to do with that? Like, are you going to help our community move forward, or are you going to set us back? Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's scary to like give somebody that position. But I do feel like we do need, like, I don't know, because in the Black community, it is like, oh, we don't have any good leadership, because like all of the leaders, um not just in online spaces, because they have actual real communities where they, you know what I'm saying, real in life communities, versus us. We only have an online community, and it's like, there was a lack of leadership there, and it's like, because all the leaders, they get a little bit of power and they abuse it and they get corrupted, and they they start race baiting, and they start doing things that are against them, that are putting them back. You know what I'm saying? So it's
Right.
scary. It's because we need people with character. We need to know who people really are, and it's hard to do that if you're online, because anybody can pretend to be anything online. So how do we know who people truly are and actually have a real leader in our community? Because you could fake to be one way. You know what I'm saying? So it's like we don't know who people's character truly are at the end of the day, because this is all behind computer screens and on phones and through the internet. So it's like it's tough. It's real tough. It's oof.
I think that as leader, like the
I am the
leaders of
leader.
today, the leaders of today are online. So one of the things now, like a lot of stuff goes on online. I mean, most people aren't meeting, people do meet in the town hall, but online, people have a lot of influence. So like, for example, when Candace Owens was trying to attack the Democrats, she went over to Cardi B, which was really hilarious because
Yeah.
Cardi B held a lot of influence over other people. So you're thinking to yourself, well, why wouldn't she go to another politician and discuss these issues? But the reality is that, social media influencers are leaders, So even though this community
They
is starting out, I
uh-huh.
do think that there's the potential for true leaders to spring up and lead mixed race people and light skinned people in a positive direction,
See.
instead of kind of leading them down a back alley into something that's really negative.
Great point because we need that because remember we were talking about how we don't have nobody to advocate for us. We do need some type of like advocacy, and that comes with like a leadership role. You know what I'm saying? That's a leader, like somebody who's advocating for us, who has that social influence, who has that clout, who has that like pull and sway and say so, and they could actually like make things happen for us in our favor. We do need that. Like we do. I want to encourage. I want to support our leaders that we do have in our community. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna address. I want to see them as such too. I don't. Because we do need that. We're starting out. You know, we are like
Yeah,
we are a little
I think we will have to like we will have to know these people individually, and I do think that there are people in the past and even within the past 10 years, let's say, that have been on campaigns to try
community.
to create, organization for mixed race people, but it's sort of fallen short. I would feel like light-skinned people, in all fairness, even though they experience light-skin colorism, most of the
Mm-hmm.
time light-skinned people will align with, the African American community or the Caribbean community or the African community, which they came from, right? Because that's their
Right.
ethnic group. But in terms of mixed race people, there are mixed race people in the media. There are mixed race influencers, but a lot of the times they just choose not to represent any type of mixed race issues because it's controversial. So a lot of creating a space is just taking away the controversy of being
Exactly.
mixed race, because there are a lot of people too fanning the flames, and
Mm-hmm.
topics like colorism, topics like racism, any kind of preferential treatment, any kind of privilege, all of that
Mm-hmm.
is going to be viewed as controversial. And if you're just looking to make money or live a peaceful life, you're not going to want to go near any of those controversial issues. So,
Exactly. That's a
I
great
mean,
point.
that's the reality.
Yeah,
Yeah,
fire
that's the
sign
reality.
girl. I love it.
Yeah, I saw somebody do a video about how like some mixed people were calling themselves black. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, some mixed celebrities, I should say. Yeah, and I'm like, of course, they're not gonna get up there and say, I'm not black. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, of
Like,
course. It's backlash.
right, it's just gonna be automatic backlash from all kind of communities, even though people know what they mean,
Mm-hmm.
right? Even though people know that they're saying that they're mixed race, there's just going to be automatic backlash. And of course, there's going to be a lot of people with different interests, both white people and black people, kind of fanning the flames, because there are white people that are upset about mixed race people, having a lot of babies born. So in other words, there might be a large number of mixed race kids born and maybe not as many white babies born and not as many black babies born. So that's
Mm-hmm.
something that is aggravating, their community, because they want like pure white children. And,
Well,
black men are feeling like, well, what about us? Why are we turning into, or why are we all becoming mixed race people, instead of remaining, unambiguously black or whatever. So again, to me, it's just going to be controversial.
it is.
And well, yeah.
because there's so much like propaganda we have to fight. You know what I'm saying? So many like narratives that are against us. Like you said, like people think like it's an agenda, like the interracial agenda of like they think like I've heard these before. You know, people think that there's so many interracial couples in the media, and it makes them feel like they're against their own race or their own people, that they want to just that like, this is like a whole plot or something that for them to destroy their own race or whatever. There's a lot of like crazy like agendas and stuff, and us, we can't help the way we were born, you know what I'm saying? And I think we should be clear about what we truly want. What I truly want, like personally, but I want to build, I just truly like, I think people a lot of think that, oh, we're mixed, so we already have a lot of privileges, we already have a lot of representation, we already have a lot, right? Like, and I'm grateful for everything that we have, right? And it's like the
Mhm.
only thing like we need to build is a real community. Like that's what we don't have, and that hurts a lot. Like everybody knows, like everybody else, like you don't know what you got till it's gone. So everybody else has like a community, like you know what I'm saying. So that's the only thing I really want to build is a community. I don't know. I've kind of with the whole like legislation and laws. There's not a lot of support there. There's really not like the whole I've realized there's not a lot of support there, and I'm just like, okay, maybe that's not in the cards right now, and I can accept that. And I'm like, okay, there's no like with the whole like being a protected class and all this stuff like that I was trying to go for in the beginning, but I don't see a lot of support for that, and unfortunately, I mean, I see people pushing for it, but we're not there yet because we don't have a community. We need a community first, and then we could maybe start advocating for like maybe laws and protections, but it's not going to happen unless we build a real community first. So that's what I want, and I don't want to be against nobody. I don't want to be. I just want to just us to like be able to have a good space for us to communicate and thrive and be able to connect with each other, and that's all I want. Like that's I just wanted to be super clear about like what I want, like and if other people want the same thing, we can connect. Other people might not want that, of course. Some people are like, no, I don't want that for themselves, and they're mixed too, and that's okay. They don't have to have that if they don't want that. But I just want to connect with people who want the same things I want. You know what I'm saying? So, what would you want out of like a community? Like, what would you want out of it? Like, even like
I think we
having.
should have I think we should have our own communities because I do think there are some huge differences between mixed people and black people. And I think a lot of the time, black people kind of like refuse to talk about it. You know, um, they
Yeah.
never want to highlight the differences. They want to always act like, oh, well, we're all in the same boat. All of us have the same issues. We're all in this together. Everybody bleeds red. Whenever you try to talk about what some of the differences are, they try to change up the conversation. So, to me, what I would say is I would feel like the start would be to acknowledge that there's a lot of huge differences, and especially culturally, and in terms of like integrity and morality, there may also be some different viewpoints. So I think that first off, we need to like have our own areas where we live in, so that when you have like a school for your child, or restaurants or activities, it's not always a few mixed people in a sea of white and black people or other races of people. But what I was thinking too, like when you go to different places in the United States, there are already places like that. So there are already towns across the United States which are predominantly mixed race. But I guess because mixed race people are sometimes targeted by different groups, a lot of mixed race people will keep those communities a secret, because there is a lot of people that are like fetishizing us, and a lot of people that, have kind of like an agenda against mixed race people having any type of unity. So I would say, you would have to rebuild or continue to build those current communities that are already there.
Hey, they're so low key. Like if we get to know them and see how they operate and like what that'd be interesting. If anybody wants to do a travel channel, like anybody in the Golden Sphere, that's something I want to see. Traveling to these communities and like seeing, interviewing the people, and seeing what they're like and finding these different types of communities of like mixed race people across America. I want to know because I want to know. I've heard about one in London too. That there's one internationally in London. I want to know. Like we don't see this on we don't see this. I don't see it on the internet. I don't see it on TV. I would love to like have some sort of like representation of what that would look like in real life. I think it'd be cool and interesting. So if anybody want to do that, I'm giving y'all some content ideas. I think that'd be cool and interesting. Hello, hi y'all. Hello, thank you for being here, everybody. Come to the Discord. Oh, AMR, come to the Discord and join voice chat if you want to be part of the conversation. I would love for you to be part of the convo. Just jump into
So
voice chat.
AMR, AMR, I don't know if you want to type in the chat, but you have two accounts, right? One with a picture of yourself
Yeah, is that a
and
troll?
one with a cartoon of yourself, but which one is the real
Is
account?
he?
Because both of them have content and both of them have subs.
Oh, does he have a troll account? Because a lot of people do that. They be making a little weird
I
little.
don't know. I don't know what that is. I'm like, because I just try to figure out. I said, wait a second, which one is the real account? Because one is talking and the other one is quiet. So I don't know. Anyway, you see
Anyway,
what's going on. Yes.
anybody?
So,
Yeah. What?
but yeah, I would say, like there are biracial communities in the United States, already biracial, mixed race, light skin. It's just that a lot of the time I do feel like people of other communities want to always be around the mixed race community. So I just feel like you have to like keep everything a secret because you just don't want, to have your space
What's
invaded,
up? Welcome to
Oh,
Discord.
there we go.
Um,
Hey, is this the real you?
Yeah,
I
that's
think
the real. And you
it's
know
the
what?
real.
Oh yeah, that I forgot at that time I was on my other account, and that
Me
account is
too.
so
Okay.
old. It's so old, and I rarely even use it. So that's why I got me stuck on this one. But nah, that wasn't a fake account. That was actually me.
Cool, cool. Oh, hey y'all. Hey, let me say hey to everybody. Well, it's bad or worse depending on where you're located. I was talking to you. I gave you that idea, RTGP, to go around because you got a travel channel. I want to know these type of communities. Know where they're at. I want to know. Not to like expose them or nothing, but I just want to get to know them like on some, I want to learn about them. I want to know. I think that's so interesting. Look, I live in Washington State. Like I don't there's no mixed communities out here for sure. So I would
What's up?
like to
Welcome to Discord.
travel. Hi James. Hello. Hello.
yeah, so yeah, I would keep them private. I wouldn't even broadcast it online, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
I
we're
would
trying to
keep it
protect the
private
privacy.
into you would need to verify who people actually are before you
Mhm.
give them that information. And I'm going to be honest with you because just people I've known like where they're living in like really good places, they are not broadcasting to the rest of
They,
the world
they keep it low
where they
key.
live because they already know that, people are going to show up, looking to get in. And unfortunately, you're going to have to reinforce that it's exclusive. So, given
Mhm.
you're talking about hate crimes, you see what I mean? And
Yeah.
so, you don't need anybody kind of bringing the wrong energy into a situation where you're already now having hate crimes. And I do think, and see, look at there's an account saying, can you email me these places? Where are these mixed race communities? So,
I
like,
want to know too. I don't know where they are. They're somewhere low key hidden around because oh, I do I wish we could have like I don't know. Is it y'all think it would be like a Black Wall Street situation where they would get destroyed if they're like they feel like they're threatening the dominant society if they feel like you know what I'm saying? Do you feel like it would be like something like that if they expose themselves like it would be a they would freaking get bombed or destroyed somehow, you know?
Something like
I
that.
wouldn't. I don't know. I don't know if they would get bombed or destroyed, but it's possible that you will have like people coming in to commit criminal activity because that's just a given. Even if you have like a gated, let's say you have a gated community in Florida. I mean, people try to break into the gated community because they're like, oh, those people have good stuff over there, so let's break in and mess it all up. I mean, that's just
Oh my
the
God, right?
fact of life. So
That's history. If you could learn from history, that happens a lot. So, people try to
right.
and yeah.
People invading countries and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's history. That's all of history basically. So, yeah, it makes sense why. They're smart. They're smart. Basically. Yeah. What up? How are
Hey,
you
but
doing?
can I go ahead and sort of like add to like what y'all were talking about like earlier?
Yeah, the leadership.
Yeah, about the leadership thing as well as
Yeah.
what also destroys it. For me, I'm looking at it like, okay, you know what? Anybody can build something, right? And everybody
Mhm.
knows how long the work has got to be put in financially and not financial. It's you're gonna work with, if not with your hands, but also with your mind, body, spirit, and all that, and trying to find a group of people to sort of be on the same sheet of paper as you are. It's everything is gonna take work. However, trying to destroy it doesn't take a whole lot of effort.
Exactly. It's
So
so
the
it's
effort
built and
is
it's
very easy.
easy.
So
Yeah.
it's a lot of less effort into destroying something versus building
Facts,
something.
facts, facts. And like it goes back to what we were saying about the communities and how they're trying to protect themselves by like staying under the radar and not really have too many people have too many eyes on them that would, you know what I'm saying, that would stir, because we are controversial. Like a lot of people don't like the fact that we exist. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people don't really want us to even be around. Like there's been history of, and
Oh
so
yeah,
I understand.
I'm gonna be writing a book about that. Like
Yeah,
there's gonna
there's
be like a lot
history.
of research.
There's historical events that have been swept under the rug, like genocides against you. They've sterilized mixed race people. Like in World War I, the French, they went over and impregnated a bunch of German. This was before Nazi Germany. It was World War I, and they sterilized them. They forcefully sterilized them without their consent to make sure they can't have kids. So that their bloodline ends right there. Like they can't. So there's been a lot of like historical tragic events, crimes against mixed race people historically. So in America too, of course, in America, of course. So,
Of
but a lot of
course,
people don't
right.
know about our history, about what's happened to us as mixed race people. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's so important for us to learn our history and know how can we move, so we can protect ourselves, protect our people, protect the communities that we're a part of. And it's like, and we do need like real leadership. We need people who have our best interests at heart, who want to protect us, because we do need that type of like protection. You know what I'm saying? We do need to make sure that because it's so easy to destroy, like you said. You're so correct on that.
And also another thing is that because dang, I done lost my train of thought, but nah though, but it was gonna go something sort of like this, because again, when it comes to studying history and knowing about history, and you keep repeating the exact same patterns over and over again, trying to line your stuff, not necessarily you're doing that, but other people trying to line themselves up exactly as the oppressors,
Mm-hmm.
down to get to repeat what they've done, and over the years, nothing like that when you're trying to again, trying to eliminate a certain group of people, whether for political purposes, or you're again trying to carry on this eugenic yeah eugenics extremist type of concept. It's not beneficial for people who think exactly like that.
Facts. Like the whole like freaking like even like Nazi Germany shit where they want to create like a pure race. We're a threat to that because obviously we have admixture in us and we're not pure, we're tainted, and it's crazy. There's just so much like
We're not just one race.
exactly.
But I
There's
don't,
like
you know what's weird? I don't view us as a tainted race.
I don't
I
view it
view us,
like no way. A lot of people do though. Some people do, but I don't view us like
I
that.
think they're just saying that. I feel like we are an evolution kind of two racial groups. So like every group is basically an evolution of something. So What they want to do is just to always have larger numbers than the other groups so they can try to maintain control over them, So that's why it's a problem when you start having a large number of people who are mixed race in an area where one group is dominating the other group, because now you have a second group or a middle group that springs up. But I feel like we are a bit of a threat to both Black people and white people in different ways. And in one way, I would say the biggest threat is probably our appearance, because they view our appearance as something that is more desirable than their appearance, both of them. So it just creates a dynamic where, a lot of people will like, oh, okay, I just will have those mixed race kids anyway because I like the way they look so much. But when it comes to like politically, then it starts to become an issue, and they're saying, well, we can't have them join our race because then we'll no longer be the race that we were, or we don't want them to overtake our race, or they're taking all of the members of our race and, creating their own race, so to me, that's what some of the issues are like with us.
But won't it necessarily like, again, turn back into somebody having the conversation like, oh, well, we're being we're being stripped of our identity and all that, you'll have that conversation going back exactly towards that. Like, oh, they MLS people, it's like, oh, well, our identities is being stripped if they go that route. If you can't beat them, join them. And then also, again, what I was also gonna put out, again, you do have a population of people who unfortunately, not nobody here, but mainly from the outside looking in, they have these extremist point of views to where they're just so ignorant and blinded to certain ideologies to where they become so toxic, and then they're sort of part of us, and then it's like, you got to kick those ignorances out of the community. That's one start.
Yep. And that's hard to do because it's like we try to be so welcoming and like open to everybody. We want to see the best in everybody because it's like we're so small as it is. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's hard to like kick somebody out but we have to do that. We have to like I don't know. It's hard though. But I guess would that be like a leader's the leaders like we were talking about leadership, that would be the leader's role to like that's like their role.
That's a leader's role to kind of enforce. The leader's role is to enforce law. So whatever laws you set up, whatever type of order you set up, part of the leader's job is to enforce it, and either by assigning those tasks even to other people. So there will be, you are going to get mixed race people who want to create different types of divisions. You are going to get mixed race people who can't agree on terminology, like like the word, the word mulatto, right? Let's take the word mulatto for example. You're going to get a horde of people coming saying that nobody better dare use that word. You're going to get a whole bunch of mixed people coming and arguing and advocating against it. So that's something that you have to keep in mind. You got to be prepared for this type of pushback from the different types of groups. And then you're going to have people that only want a certain percentage. The percentage issue is another issue because one way in the past it was one way, and now in the future people are making it a different way. And so which way is the right way? And you're going to have a lot of different types of discussions where not everybody is going to be happy. Right?
Make everybody happy. That's so true. You know what I'm saying? And it's like you'll get exhausted and burned out trying to make everybody happy. Like you just gotta stick to your own values and find people who are like-minded and share the same values instead of trying to force your values and your ideas on other people. That'll never work. You just gotta find people who share the same values and build with them, right? So at the end of the day. So I want to address this comment. It says the goal is to move correctly. If you date each other, that's one way to make yourself less of a threat. So do you guys agree with that? So if mixed people were just dating each other, we would be viewed as less of a threat to like the dominant like monoracial communities. Do you guys agree with that? That's kind of an interesting take.
Well, you know what, Magic? I'm glad that something like that was said because I was thinking about this last night, and I was in the car, and it's like, okay, we done already done established, especially when it comes to the dating and the mating process, and why we sort of, as MLS people, do get the short end of the stick of certain things due to
Mhm.
our locations and genders and all that. And I myself would never come with an unrealistic standpoint.
Mhm.
Like if you're in if you come from a certain, of a certain region or a certain population where you're not really seeing that many of you, and you sort of have to unfortunately adapt it as as what's being presented or given to you. I know not too many people want to hear that,
Mhm.
but it's like, hell, for an example, it's like if it's like, again, like 80 to 95% white in this location, and you only have like 5 to 10% of black in this location, and then they intermingle and
Mhm.
they have kids. And 9 times out of 10, now I'm not saying that it's gonna be one way, but 9 times out of 10, the majority of them will be girls.
Yeah, they be
And
girls.
yeah, they will be girls. Now, if you do have to happen to have a boy that will turn into a man, unfortunately, and I know
Mhm.
that this is also gonna be another unpopular argument right here, that I think that more of the men is gonna be at a disadvantage because of
Mhm.
all this other stuff that, and not just as MLS men in general, but just they're just gonna be at a disadvantage from their regions and their locations because of their gender, what
Unfortunately, that's
stereotypes and all this other stuff. So we're being attacked from all different sorts of angles. It's like looking at a kung fu movie where you see spears jumping from the ground, and you're making sure that
The
you
stars.
wanna, yeah, yeah, and you wanna make sure you maneuver out of the way so a spear won't hit you, even if it grazes you just a little bit. You'll be hurt, but not seriously hurt. But
Mhm.
it's like the only way that something can really happen is if it deeply penetrates through you.
Mhm. You
But
let it internalize. You can't
yeah,
internalize. Like, I feel like that's something that is so important. We need to talk about that more often because it's like all this, like, these anti-mixed narrative, these anti-mixed propaganda and stuff. It's so easy to internalize. Like, so just like how, like, in the black community, a lot of them internalize anti-blackness, and they think like white is right, so they go after like. But it's like no, we gotta really face that. Like I have before because I used to be in a pro-black community. Of course, there's a lot of anti-mixed race narratives, and I had to like, and I internalized a lot of it. I was like, oh, I felt bad for having white Neanderthal DNA and all this crazy. I actually, internalized a lot of it. And I
Wow.
had to deprogram myself. I had to get out of that. And these communities help me like embrace and love myself more. You know what I'm saying? That's why I feel like it's so important. And I love these communities. I want to build it because they're going to help people love and embrace themselves more. Because if you're a part of another community that hates that you're half white or hates that you're half black or hates one half of who you
yeah,
are,
because
that's going to always
it's like
become toxic. It's
because
always
it's
going to,
like, again, this like little battle of the cultures because
yeah.
they've been through so much throughout history and society, and it's like, and it's still, and the argument, and is that we're still talking about this in year 2022, and then then it's like, well, then you'll have people from either side like, well, how long you gonna keep talking about this? Well, you yourself know that the situation was never fixed.
Mm-mm. Exactly.
This is why stuff communities like this was formed, because the situations were never fixed, and you kick people out, you excluded people. It's like one minute you want to include, next minute you want to exclude. Make up your mind, because
Yeah,
you can't
exactly.
have it both.
Golden was saying they don't want to address this type of stuff. It's swept under the rug. Like Future was Golden was saying how it's like, oh, we're all the same. We're all there's no differences between us, and none of like how we're treated and how we're put down and how we're it's just people don't want to see it because people don't care about stuff that don't affect them. You know what I'm saying? So it's like
Right.
we can't
Right.
expect this community. If you're not mixed, you're not going to care about mixed race issues most of the time. You know what I'm saying? Like most people don't give a damn about what mixed race people are going through because they see them as like privilege or they see them as whatever they see. There's a lot of we do have a lot of positive things going for us. We gotta accept that. We gotta love that, and I'm grateful for all of the positive wonderful things we have going for us. And it's like, but we can't just ignore all the negative things that are against us at the same time. You know what I'm saying? So it's like we have to still address all these negative issues and stuff so we could keep moving forward and not be stagnant. That's why nothing gets done. If you're always ignoring the negative and not addressing what's going on, you're just gonna be stagnant. Nothing's gonna change. In the next 50 years, it's gonna be the same shit because you're not addressing what needs to be addressed so you could make some changes, make the necessary changes so you can move forward and not be just in the same situation for generations. So and that's what we're trying to do here. We're trying to address it. We're trying to, okay, what's the solution? We're trying to be solution oriented. Like, okay, y'all don't want it in your community. Okay, we'll build our own community. That's it. That's the solution oriented. We're not gonna sit here and complain and cry. And a lot of people, we already have that stereotype. Oh, people call us cry racials and we're, mixed race tears and all this bullshit or whatever. It's like, okay, we're not gonna sit here crying. Y'all don't care. We know y'all don't care. So it's not gonna change. So we see that. We're gonna accept that and we're gonna
Or
build
you
our own.
know what? You know what, Magic? It's not necessarily just that. Hell, it can be light skinned tears too, and then it's just like what? I'm like, damn, like I thought tears was tears. No matter who's shedding it, as human beings, one
It
is
doesn't
not.
make it.
It
No.
don't make again. It doesn't make any more greater or less than. But
Well, I think
for
they
me,
look at us. They look at
but
us
go ahead.
like a grass. A grass is greener on the other side. That's
Yeah.
how
Yeah,
that's how mixed people are viewed by the Black community. So no matter what you tell them, they just don't seem to believe you, And if they have cancer and you have cancer, their cancer is worse than your cancer because they're darker than you. So that's something where you have to get out of the mind trap of trying to prove to Black people that your problems matter or that your issues matter and just move on with your life. Just prioritize your own
Period.
issues and organize with like-minded people because they are not going to their situation is very drastic. And that's why I'm sort of like I don't really want to align mentally or politically with Black people and their issues, but I also don't want to align with white people and their issues because I think both of the groups have a lot of serious issues and they've done a lot of bad stuff. And then if you align with either of those groups, you have to take the punishment or the penalties that are going to come, and the repercussions. And who are they gonna offer up to get the repercussions first? The person that they can do without, which is the mixed race person. So to me, I think it should just be a mixed spaces, and of course you're gonna have people that try to infiltrate because they fetishize mixed race people, but just you want when you get to know people and you know them on a personal level, you know who's who and what they're
Yep.
about, and what they have to
Exactly.
offer. Not to say that Black people or people can't be a part of these communities too. It's just to say that they would need to be on code. It's not going to be a situation where a bunch of young men looking to get with some mixed race women can run up into the community and do what they want, or the same goes for white women. A bunch of white women can get up in there and see who they can grab that, you've been preparing your son to be a great person. And here they come. Ooh, look, a nice golden man. Let me get him.
Mhm.
That's not what the community would really be for. And you really have a lot of people with that kind of mindset. So it's just something you just have to correct for. But that's all I had to add.
Great point. Y'all are on fire tonight, man. But I really like the point of like we gotta stop trying to convince people to care about our issue. It'll never work. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of energy, and we gotta just
Right.
put our own self first. Period. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like
Mhm.
it-
As a
we
race.
Yeah,
Exactly.
so it's like, yeah, we're not gonna be on no BS like
Really,
that in our communities. We're not gonna try to, like I said, I like what
exactly.
you said too. I don't really want to align with either side. I want to align with myself and what people, you know what I'm saying? So I think that's the best thing we could do. And I think that's a good foundation right there. We got to have a solid foundation when it comes to things. So I think that's what we should focus on, like, our foundation, what we truly want, and like building leaders, like, supporting leaders in our communities who are about like, helping us build and making sure they're using their power and influence correctly to that'll benefit us in a certain way. You know what I'm saying? People who have bigger platforms and stuff, and like I think that's good. I think that's good. I think that's good. Anybody got anything else to say about this topic? I got a lot out of this convo. I think it was really good. You know what I'm saying? I think I got some clarity. You need some clarity about what it means and what it
You know
takes.
what? One thing that I did want to add is like, especially when now I don't know how much time that you got left because I don't want to overdo it.
We got time. We got time. I'm just yeah, go ahead.
It's like, okay, when people talk about power, right? It's like, okay, well, what exactly is power? Do they mean like the money power or just power just for the sake of just having power?
I
Because
think
to
they mean
me,
everything, all power.
Oh, what'd you say, James?
I
go
think
ahead.
when people talk about power, they mean like power for their people, stuff like that.
What we were
Oh,
talking about is we're an online community. We were talking about people who have like bigger platforms. Like if you have a bigger platform, if you got social influence and stuff. That's what kind of we were talking about. We don't got no money yet. I mean, what money do we got in our community? Nothing. Not yet. You know what I'm saying? If we keep
yeah.
growing and building, maybe we could
I'm
start,
saving up money.
having more money. But right now, it's like just people who have like bigger platforms and bigger. They're more visible and like that comes with power. That's power right there because you could influence
And the
because
bigger people I see sometimes they like put themselves down there than their own race, which is mixed race. I
selected how
don't
to speak.
understand that. They like they put their issues over they put their issues like down there. Then they put black people issues over their own issues.
Mm. So individual people have power. Yeah, yep. Individual people have power. Oh, somebody. Okay, but like I was saying about the money thing.
I'm laughing because I didn't even get to see the message. Somebody,
What he said was, see what he said. He said,
I'm not going to look at
individual
it.
people have money. We've just selected how to spend it. So y'all agree with
Right.
that? Basically, yeah, but I don't feel like we have
Right.
money
We're
as
just
a collective. We
selecting
don't
how
have like
we spend
collective
it.
buying power. Like we all just
I don't
individuals.
even think that we're not large. We're not a large enough base to have to really to say we really have buying power. And I
Yeah,
also don't think like of the mixed race and biracial people I have personally known, they are not materialistic. So there's no like of the friends I've had, and people are educated, people have really good jobs, they have a lot of money. They don't walk around like trying to get Louis Vuitton and Benzes and stuff like that, and you know, all kinds of like materialistic expensive items. And there's another community that's kind of known for that. Whenever they get money, they pour their money into these material goods. So I would say that the mixed race community is not really aligned with that ideology. And that's why I was saying there are some significant differences between our two groups.
Mhm. So yeah, like me personally, I've been working a lot. I've been trying to build my credit, I want to get my financial life in order, you know what I'm saying? I want to be able to help chip in and if we do have like any community funds or whatever we need to do or whatever that'll benefit us as a community. I do want to be able to contribute that financially, of course, and I hope we all could do the same, get our financial life in order and be
I'll
educated, be
be head
smart,
of
put our money
I'll be
where our
head of
mouth is,
the country.
I do hope we
What'd
could
you say?
point at one point.
I'll be held up. I will be head of the country.
The head
You'll be what?
He's gonna be head of the country. We gotta vote. Are we gonna do a democracy? Or are we gonna vote? Or what are we gonna do? You gotta vote.
I
You
think
gotta
this would
vote.
be, I
Diamond
mean,
Mark.
there's just a lot of there's a lot of towns, there's a lot of towns, and I think the biggest issue is people just buy homes, they buy their home, they live in like these different towns and, have their local businesses, and that is their community, and I mean, that's the start
But
of a community.
I want to say
So
more than
somebody
that.
said something about like Black Wall Street. And I guess it would be a similar issue where, you go in, you create your community, you bring in your businesses that are, of course, your own people, and collectively you build your community. So
Mhm.
it's not something where, you have to put money in like a pyramid scheme or anything like that as a mixed race person to build, wealth. You just have to have like the communities have to be organized and set up. And, communities are built on families. They're not built on lone men and women looking for love or,
Mhm.
that's not
Right.
what it's built on. It's built on actual families, even if it's an extended family, even if it's like, you know, older couples with their younger children or whatever. It's still families creating the community. So that's another thing that's really
Watch
important.
out for the country on YouTube and news.
Hmm. No, go ahead.
Especially
I'm listening to you.
stuff
Oh my
What you
God,
say?
I hope I didn't click out of the wrong thing. Where did I go? Oh my
You
God,
here?
I'm right.
You
Yeah,
good?
so I pressed something and it went to the wrong page.
Okay.
So but yeah, I was just saying like that's community building,
Mhm.
That's pretty much community building.
we can start traditions and all that stuff.
Yep.
Well,
Yep. There's a lot.
first you need a place to live. I mean, you need a place
Start
to live.
small. We gotta
That's
Yeah.
start
what I'm
small.
saying.
We
That's
gotta
what I'm
get.
saying.
Personally, I think we should all focus on being the best we can be in our individual lives. You know what I'm saying? I believe in that. I believe it starts on an individual level. You know what I'm saying? It starts us. Just like me, I'm trying to get my finances in order. I'm trying to, make sure my life is in order. And then I want to encourage other people to take responsibility in their lives and making sure their lives are in order. And then that could be like a chain reaction. I just want to help like inspire all our people to be the best they can be in our individual lives. And then we could come together and then we could have more if we're all messed up like in our lives we can't do nothing, like we're not gonna be able to help each other, we're not gonna be able to do anything. So it's like first it starts like on a personal level, so I just want to encourage everybody to just do the best they can, be the best. If you got mental health issues, you treated for it. If you got health issues, you try to take care of your health. If you got financial issues, you take care of your finances, you take care of your family, you take care of your kids, like you do right in your own life, and then you could help build yourself up. So building yourself up is going to help build the community up because you're part of the community. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's the most
Absolutely.
important thing. And then passing on the knowledge to other people. Like if you know how to build a business, you could teach me, like give me some pointers, give me some tricks, give me some, pass on the knowledge to me, and then I could help build a business, and that's building the community right there. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's the most important steps. I think we could. That's a call to action. That's something you could do right now. Just take responsibility for your life. Keep focusing on being the best you can be, and I think that's doable.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's definitely about having your finances in order, your career in order, in order to be able to afford the things that would create a nice community. So even if you want to have like homes and stuff like that in a nice community, or if you just want to have like a super large apartment building, I mean, there's communities where it's just all apartment buildings. But like whatever you have, it's something
But
where
guys,
it's just a group of people who've organized ahead of time and they have their money ready for their family. So I wouldn't suggest anything where you would be investing any money,
well, I
okay?
will.
Because we all know unscrupulous people are like on the
I'm actually,
lookout, you
I'm
know?
actually going to
Um,
school for
Oh, yes,
any house.
yes. I'm reading a
but it
book
would
right now.
certainly be something where you would prioritize so that you can get your monies together. And I noticed that there was a house in my neighborhood that was super large. And I didn't realize it, but it was a mother-daughter house and it was expensive too. But what these people did is they found another family, and I guess the family is from the same country as them. And what they did is both of them chipped in, so they both get to share the house, you
Oh,
know.
that's smart.
So yeah, since the house was a mother-daughter, they were able to, have a nice split and pay less money than, going in and buying a house, 400, 500, 800K. They were able to just pay like half of that. And each of them has their families and their cars and stuff like that. So those are like smart choices that people can make to, kind of have like a nice lifestyle,
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, there are
Yeah.
communities.
But yeah, I'm going to school for building houses.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, so this is actually gonna happen.
Gonna be a doctor. Which one?
It's gonna be all.
You gonna be all of it?
Yup, anything possible.
Anything possible. I feel you. All right. All right.
Okay.
Yeah, this gonna happen.
I feel you,
Yeah, I
sir.
mean, you definitely have to think positive and focus on something that you can do, focus on
Mhm.
something you can do and not get caught up in stuff that you can't really do.
Because I really
And then
take
get
this
negatively
serious.
disappointed and stuff like that. So that's definitely feasible. I think home building is going to be one of those careers that kind of takes off in the near future. Because I don't know if you've seen them, but they have like these tiny homes now. We went
Yeah.
on vacation and they were selling these sheds that were like $15,000.
No way.
And the shed was like 2 stories and it was like really
Shit.
large. They were saying that if you have land, they can bring it to your land. And I was like, that is a house. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
for
is
Oh yeah,
someone.
absolutely. And that's the thing. Even when it comes to real estate has changed and innovated.
oh yeah. It's
It's not necessarily, building it from the ground up using dirt, soil, plant, wood, or what have you. But uh, again, like trailer trucks and make it out of a home. I mean, that's why the way. I know it sounds funny, but that's actual thing. And if you feel like you can't afford, a regular house in a regular neighborhood, well then, and a lot of people may look at me with the side eye when I say this, that for some, there's really nothing wrong with living in a mobile home.
there's nothing wrong with
You
it.
know?
Unless you live
No,
in
no,
like
no, no.
Tornado Valley
I
where you're
mean,
like that thing gonna be
we
ripped
can do that
apart.
too also. We can do that also.
I want a
But we
brick
also
house.
need a home. And we also
Uh,
need to think about in 1,000 years. Like we want our
exactly. Think
generation,
1,000 years
we want
ahead.
our
I like that.
generation to have a culture and all that
Play the
stuff.
long game. Yes, I
We-
agree.
Yeah,
I
that's a
like
good mindset.
That's what I'm doing
I
is
love that.
um,
Yeah, definitely. You got to think ahead. It can't be, that's something we have to unlearn because I know that that's something very prevalent in the Black community. It's like very short-term thinking because if you're in survival mode, you're only thinking about surviving. You're only thinking about like right now. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to get out of that. Like, so when you're like stable in a stable situation and then you could think long term. So you got to get out of like survival mode. So you could like,
Yeah, you
be
do have to get out of that. And it's better to move in, there's not a lot of areas now where it's like integrated. So it's not a lot of areas where there's a mixture of different races living and it's low cost. A lot of those
Yeah.
kind of areas cost a lot of money. Um,
That's where I live. Where I live, in Washington and like a southern Washington. Yeah, that's how it is. It's like very integrated. It's pretty low cost too. It's nice.
oh,
I like
really?
diversity. Yeah, it's a lot of diversity here. There's a lot of different people. There's a lot of
that-
Islanders. There's a lot of Native Americans. There's a lot of Black people. There's of course, a lot of white people. Mostly white people, but there's mixed people. There's Asian people. There's everybody. You
there
know.
you go.
But what did I just do?
Um,
I just clicked
And
on.
you know, and I think you and I talked about this before that a lot of and again, and if you read and again, if you ever, again, take the time and also do a little bit of, research where a lot of MGMs moved up here. Well,
Yeah,
mainly up in the area, and that's what nobody won't point out or
What, in
nobody
the
won't.
Seattle, Washington area?
Yeah,
I live in
a lot.
He lives in Eastern Washington. I live in like Southern Washington, and then somebody else, they live in Seattle area. So a lot of us are in Washington, but we're all like scattered. Like my mom is
I
from the
mean, that's
South.
the popular of
Well, she's from
America.
the South, but she moved up here because she wanted, it's good. A lot of people move
But
up here. It's
there's
very,
also another person who's originally from Washington, but they don't live there no more. So
yeah.
I'll
There's a
tell
lot
you.
of us out here.
I'll
So
tell y'all
yeah,
who it is. Scenes.
Yeah, I
You
think
guys
Seattle
visit
is
London.
Seattle is a nice community.
You
it's
guys
nice.
visit
All
London.
diversity and stuff. I like it. I really, I thrive in diversity. I think I don't like being like the only monoracial community. I don't know. It's kind of awkward. It's weird, but I like diversity. Where I don't know. I just, you feel like you fit in better. I guess.
London, diverse.
I like diversity, but I also sometimes I feel like there's a danger to diversity because usually there's one group that's larger than all the other groups, and then
Yeah.
there's like a smattering of diversity, and it just makes it hard to organize, because people want to, like, when people start talking about like POC and all of that, people of color, like none of those groups have the same issues, so it just makes it hard to get your issues across. Now you're talking about Mexican issues plus other Hispanic groups. Like they all have different issues. So I don't know. I lived in diverse areas. I live in like all white areas at one time. I live in a black neighborhood, but I guess I lasted 6 months in an all black area. But I would if I had the choice, I would move to more of a community where it was a little bit more mixed race people. Um
Yeah, that's
yeah,
very
and
true.
that's what I'm kind of looking for right now too, because we're kind of looking to get out of where we live and move
Mhm.
somewhere where it's like a mixed race community, because it's just I live in a monoracial community, but they're not mixed, and it makes it difficult. They don't know what things you have to deal with, and there's always a lot
Exactly.
of confusion. So
I hate feeling singled out. Like that's the worst feeling in the world, and that's how we feel in like monoracial communities. It's so easy to single us out, and like, oh, it's the worst. It's the freaking worst. That's why I kind of like diverse communities. It's harder to single your. That's why I kind of like it. But you're absolutely right. Like when it comes to issues and stuff, you can't relate on different issues and stuff because you come from totally different backgrounds and stuff. So it's hard to find. But I just liked it because it's like you just can't get singled out so easily. You know what I'm saying? But you're absolutely right about definitely. There's always pros and cons to like everything, and you made a good point.
that's what I meant to say. Like there's pros and cons to everything. So
Mhm.
all the benefits you might get from certain communities are there. But like, I guess it's a grass is greener mindset. Like the whole mixed race community,
Right.
like, oh, living in a mixed race community is going to be so great. You kind of don't know what it's going to be like because you've never lived in one. So
Exactly. It's like we romanticize it, and like
yeah,
you don't know what it'd be like how it play out in like real life. So it's like we gotta stay grounded in reality so we can know like, there's always gonna be issues. There's always not everything's gonna be utopia and all your problems are gonna go away. Like that's unrealistic, of
right.
course. Like that's not logical. Like you gotta think logically and like really be realistic about things and be ready to face issues and problems when they arise because that's life. You can't escape that no matter what. So
That's right. Yeah, you have to be
mm,
prepared for issues as they arise. Just because you move in doesn't mean
Exactly.
it's everything's going to be perfect. Which is
say we
how the human brain works. So your brain works like that. Like if I just get this, everything will be perfect. Like I was like, when I like
Right.
my life is gonna be perfect when I learn how to drive. And I was like, no,
Exactly.
more
That
responsibility.
that's so freaking true. We're never
Actually,
satisfied. We're never
someone put
satisfied
the
as humans. That's like
someone
freaking
actually put
human.
the
Yep.
English language in the Urban Dictionary.
Yeah, definitely. About the language,
No,
definitely.
somebody already did it.
He did? Oh, you gotta share that with me. Share it in the Discord so I can see it. I wanna
Mhm.
see. I think that'd be awesome. They say when you say mixed community, loads of people are mixed or just I don't know what to say of different monoracial people. So there is a difference, right? There's like diversity, there is a difference. So there's diversity of like people. That's like a bunch of different types of people. And then like a mixed community. Oh, there is like a freaking, because it could apply to both, right? You could say that about both. Like how we'll say
I
MLS
believe
community.
mixed
We'll say MLS.
communities.
We know specifically what we're talking about. An MLS community is like a mixed and light skinned community, where in a mixed
Right.
community, that's like a diverse. Yeah.
Well, that would be the difference would be a mixed community versus a multicultural community. So
Yeah,
I
I
wouldn't
know
use
about
the
the
word
Anglo
mix.
Saxons
I wouldn't
people.
I wouldn't use the word mix to replace the word multicultural. So one is for mixed race people and the other one is for different groups of different cultures. So like a multicultural or multi-ethnic, neighborhood. So there's a lot of them along the coast, like Los Angeles or New York or Miami is like a multicultural city. But if you're talking about like, if you go to Kentucky, I mean, obviously there's communities where just one race of people like monoracial. So
Going from like
Yeah.
going from Midwest from the South
South.
and then from the actual West Coast to the Pacific Northwest. Yeah, that again that dynamic and again like region and all that. Yeah, especially from the Midwest to the
I
South.
actually saw a black man on YouTube say that Irish people are not white. What you guys think about that?
They say that about Italy too.
They,
Like
they even said that about Italians, that even Italians was
Anybody from the original European countries are European or Caucasian. It's just different kinds of Caucasian.
I've heard that too. Like they say that, oh, that's erasing our identity if you just call us white. We want to be known by our national or our ethnic background, which is Italian or which makes sense to me. You know what I'm saying? Because white is just a color. It's just a description. It's just a description of how you look versus like a whole community and culture and ethnic background you come from that you could identify more with. That have values and traditions and different foods and different things that they actually, it's part of the versus just like how you look as your description. So I could understand that.
That's just so plain.
Yeah.
Like
I
you're
guess.
white.
Yeah, that's like kind of what is it? What's the word I'm looking for? It kind of like it whitewashes you or like it kind of it definitely does like take a lot of your identity away, I guess. Even
And
though
I do
black
think white
people,
people and
they
I do
have
think white people
whole
face
identity of being black.
discrimination.
There's a whole like black American community where it's like, there's a whole identity around like blackness and black just based on the description. Like that's just a description, but there's a whole culture and traditions and stuff behind it. So it's like I don't
Absolutely.
know.
You cannot put color without race. Well,
But
not
white
race. You
really
cannot
done
put
the
color
same thing. You've noticed that? Like when they say white people have no culture and stuff, like there's no
white
like
people
tradition
do have
and
culture
cultures
from
behind.
Europe.
They do, but it's not like it's associated with like being Irish or being Italian or being that. That's why they don't really want to. But like when it comes to blackness, there is like a whole like when it comes to America, I don't know. I don't even know. It's kind of deep.
I think more white people should stand up for themselves.
Yeah, if they don't want to
Because
be described, if they don't want to be called white and they want to be called Italian or Irish or whatever they are, I would respect that. I'm not gonna who are we to sit here and be like, no, you're because that happens to us all the time. When we try to claim our identity and people try to say, no, you're this and the identity policing, I'm not gonna identity police nobody. If
and
they
I
want to
think
be called with that's cool with me, I want
I mean
to
you can't I mean no matter what you say you still gonna be that person. No matter what I say I'm gonna still be me. I mean
exactly.
yeah, but you know, I don't identity so
Period. Yeah. Poor Jose. Jose, he don't have a Discord, do we? Dang it.
No, he's not in the Discord. So I was
Oh
trying to tell him,
no.
I guess maybe the next stream, we'll
Yeah,
we'll try to do
I'll
it
use,
on StreamYard or whatever. Yeah, because fortunately for me, I'm in the Discord too. Because I was like, oh, maybe I'll delete all these Discords. I never get anything done checking in the Discord
oh my
and
God,
stuff.
right? It's distracting.
So then I was like, no, I'm not gonna delete it just yet. But
I'll do
yeah,
it.
it's very distracting. So yeah, I would
Mhm.
do StreamYard because I'm supposed to do my first stream. I was supposed to do it on Friday, but I would like to do it for tomorrow, and I'm gonna schedule it. So I already set everything up on Friday night. So when there's a stream
Excited.
tomorrow,
Yeah, I
Promote
got a
yourself,
stream
girl.
next
everybody
Everybody
week.
you're
I got a
welcome.
subscribe.
stream coming up. Y'all know about
Subscribe
Old
to
English,
Keisha
right?
Golden. She's gonna have a stream on this Friday. We're supporting each other. Subscribe to her. We're gonna be popping. We're gonna in there supporting her. We're gonna have a good convo. I'm very looking forward to that. That's gonna be good. Streaming hard as buns.
I'm having
Yeah.
a stream like in 2 months. I have a lot of research.
Oh, I'm sorry. I should turn my mic off. I'm sitting here laughing out loud, and I didn't realize my mic wasn't turned
Contagious.
off.
You make me laugh. Funny.
And I'm laying in the bed laughing too, which makes it even worse. But sorry, everyone. But yeah,
Nah, it's all good.
Mhm.
yeah, I'm trying to figure out like the StreamYard. I mean, that's what I'm using.
Yeah, that's
That's what I'm
fine.
gonna
That's
do.
good.
You
Don't
know,
listen to
Well, do you
Streamer.
guys have any English
I might message
ancestry?
Fader Jake. I might message Fader Jake so that
Guys,
He's the one
do
producing all of this. Like, if you go look at all like the little cute little things he got, that's why we're doing it in Discord because he could do like the OBS through here. So he knows how to do. I don't know how to do none of this. That's all him right there. Like, I don't know how to do
it's
all
Fader
these little
Jake.
what do you
things,
guys
images
do you
and
guys
stuff. I don't know how to do that.
do you guys have any English ancestry?
I think I do. I don't know. I don't know. I feel like my whole ancestry was like just all over the place, and it was like I don't know. I was like I can't really like feel connected to anything because it's like there's like 5% here, 20% here, 10% here.
Yeah.
It was like all over. So I was like I didn't really feel like I don't know. We'll just say where just American, at this point.
Now, you said that because like my actual
Yeah,
last name,
American.
which I don't not too many people know, but hell, even my actual last name, yeah, it's not pure English, but it does have a bit of English ancestry in there. But at the same time, you also got to look at the Scottish part as well as the
I'm
Irish part.
more Scottish and Irish. Yeah, I'm more like Irish and
Yeah, I have
Scottish
some Irish.
than English. And
Yeah, I
shout
know
out to
about Old English.
Scottish people. Love y'all.
Old English.
Yeah,
uh,
I'm all the UK. So I have English. I have
yeah,
England, Scotland, Wales, and Ireland. So I'm all
me
the
too.
UK countries
Me too.
plus the African American.
Me
Oh,
too.
and I also forgot to add, the French and the Spaniards and the Portuguese in there. So
Wow. I got
I
like
think I have
1%
I think I have some Norwegian in me.
all over. We got DNA from every part of all over
Yeah, I
and
yeah,
think
everywhere.
we
I
have
went to
DNA from a lot of countries in Africa. So I was
I
telling
have
someone
English,
when I
Irish.
first got my DNA test, I was like, oh, when I find out which country I'm from, I'm gonna buy tickets and visit with some girlfriends from college. And then when I got the results, it was like 8 countries. I was like, no way. And they're not, some of them are not even near each other. So I will probably never, and then also there's a lot of issues that I probably would never visit there because it's very small percentages for each of those countries. But
Like
I do feel like we're American too.
we are
Yeah.
American. We claim American because I don't know. Both my family's been here for a bunch of generations now, so it's like I feel like we're just. I
Yeah,
feel like most Americans are like mixed up with a bunch of different stuff anyway. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? So like that's a
People
common thing we have in common. That we're all
mhm.
basically a bunch of different.
Yeah, Americans are mixed, basically.
We're mixed.
Different
It's a
races.
mixed nation at this point. It really
Right.
is. It's
White Americans are
Ethnic
mixed
group.
with different white groups, and
yeah,
Black
they are.
Americans are mixed with different Black groups. But
Yes.
Native
a lot of groups
American,
get mixed though, like
Asian.
Mexican, Middle Eastern, Asian. They don't always mix with other groups though, I think it's more like the white community, the Black community, the groups
Wait,
that have been in this country the longest.
isn't the Middle Easterns considered white?
Not really. They're considered Middle Eastern, North African. That might now be a new ethnicity designation on the census. A lot of them are saying that they don't feel that they're white. They don't want to be considered white.
That's totally
They don't really have much to do with whiteness. Like white is really like Anglo-Saxon,
yeah.
the United Kingdom, Liechtenstein, Belgium, Germany.
Irish.
Yeah, those
European.
are like white countries. When you start getting down into like Italy, Israel,
That's not
Morocco, Egypt, that's not really like those groups are
Irish.
saying they really don't have a lot of
Italian.
whiteness or white culture.
Italian people like they're European.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
European, but sometimes you'll hear them say, "I'm not white, I'm Italian." I find that hilarious, but sometimes they say that. They say they're not white, they're
Yeah.
Italian.
That's
Yes.
totally fine.
I know. See, I don't even know about the different they got a bunch of different labels and different shits too going on that they go through the
But
same
you
thing we
gotta
go
know
through.
about you guys know about old English spoken during the BC era.
I'm listening. So you said Old English, what, James Maps? Go ahead.
Yeah, old English. It was spoken during the BC era.
Right. Yeah, so I mean, I don't know, when we talk about like the online communities being destroyed, does anybody want to add anything to like how online communities get destroyed too? Because I think we covered like community building. I didn't even look at the first word, which is online.
Let me add to that.
I
Let
would
me
say
add.
I would start off with what destroys them is not necessarily trolls, but certain types of trolls who are very insidious, who are like constantly
Hatred
visiting
people.
the channel, looking for ways to bring the channel down. I would say those trolls are destructive, but not all of them.
Yeah. Sometimes they give us clout.
I think that what's destructive is this is kind of specific to like a mixed community. It's like when there's always drama in every community. Okay, that's whatever. But when it comes to like taking a side, you know how it's like, oh, these people versus these people, and these people don't get along, and so it's like you have to pick a side, it's us or them. I think that's especially harmful to a mixed community because it's like trauma. It's like re-traumatizing us because our whole lives we felt like we had to pick a side. So it's like now we're doing that in our communities. So it's like in other communities, I think it wouldn't destroy their communities because it's like, oh, they don't have to always experience, oh, you got to pick this side or pick this. They don't really always, so it's not really like a big deal to them. But to us, it's like, oh my God, like this has been going on my whole life. Now it's going on in this community. I don't want to be a part of this community anymore because it's like I don't want to always feel like I have to pick a side when it comes to like, when two people have problems, you know what I'm saying? So I think that's kind of harmful to our community. So I don't know how we would stop that because people are always going to have problems and issues and stuff. So, and especially on a public platform. So it's hard to like, because most people want to come like James, there's people who just want to come in the community and be cool with everybody. Like, I feel like that's me too. Like, I want to be friends and cool with everybody, And then when people start drama, it's like, oh, you can't be cool with everybody. All of a sudden, you got to pick a side, And that it's hurtful.
What's
It's
up?
hurtful.
Welcome to Discord.
Come here. Hello. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Are you Pimp Juice?
No.
Oh, okay. You just came into Discord. Welcome in. How are you doing?
I'm
Thank you
good.
for
I'm just I'm just new to this Discord thing, so
being
I'm
here.
here.
Thank you. Welcome.
So what's
Yeah.
your name?
Well, I'm Don Amanda Robles, so I'm just
Okay.
Do you
I'm
be
just
in Jose's
here.
chat? I think I've seen you before.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know you. Yeah, you're Dominican, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. How are you doing? Thank you for popping in here. I appreciate you. Like, oh, So I would love to hear your take on this. Like, I would love to hear because we're talking about community building and mixed race communities, and the Dominican Republic is
How
one of
can
the
we
main
build
like
a
mixed race
country?
communities. So
We talking about
so
building countries and building
mhm.
Yeah.
culture.
So I
I
think
mean, if you actually look at it, there's a lot of I guess places that are at risk.
mm-hmm.
So I guess we'll have to help do our best to try to help those communities.
Yep, good point.
But then what put a lot of these communities is at risk is because of willful ignorance.
Yep, yep. I agree.
Yeah.
It is willful ignorance. And is that what you think what destroys communities the most? Like the main threat is like willful ignorance.
Yes.
I agree because I think that what destroys communities a lot of the times is when people put their own self interest before the interest of like everybody else. When you're putting your own stuff ahead of everybody else's, I think that destroys the community too. When you're not taking the community's best interest in heart, you don't really care about what's going on and how your actions affect others. I think that destroys communities too.
Yeah. I mean, it's to the point that you have certain people that they have a philosophy that they think it's correct, but
Yeah.
then it's actually wrong. And then instead of actually trying to better their communities or something like that, they're trying to promote other ideals which will be harmful in the communities for the years to come. So
Mm-hmm. It's like an
Yeah.
or
ego thing too, because people, it's hard to admit. That's why it take a real leader. Like we were talking about leadership earlier. It take a real leader because a real leader, they got to take responsibility for when they're wrong. Because when they do make mistakes, it affects a lot of people. Because if they're misleading somebody or something, it takes a lot of character, and it takes you be able to like set your ego and pride aside and be like, okay, I was wrong, because you put other people first, you put your people first before your own ego and before your own pride. And that's so rare nowadays. I feel like it is so rare because most people, it's so hard to do for some reason. But it's like, that's what I respect in like leaders who could admit, because everybody, we're all human. We all make mistakes. Even people who are leaders, who are in positions of power, of course they make mistakes. And that's, I don't know, I can respect somebody who could like admit they're wrong and try to correct what they are doing and try to, I can respect people like that.
That's
I
true.
know, and it's like it's it's very sad that we have to live in a society like that, but
Mm-hmm.
it's it's I guess it's the own way of the world. So
It is especially in American society where it's like me first, only me. We're living in a very highly individualistic society where it's like you only care about yourself. You don't like even these big corporate, they don't care about how their product or what they're doing is affecting other people. Like that's mostly the mindset of like, the modern world and like the world we live in. Like we don't really have like close knit communities anymore where we're like looking out for each other. It's mostly about like even like the whole crabs in a buckle mentality where it's like I'll tear you down to bring myself up. Like that's so prevalent and so common. So it's like it's hard to really build like actual communities anymore because the like modern mindsets and stuff are like so against that because they're only about putting yourself first and not really caring about nobody else. So it's like it's
Yeah,
hard.
but like I said earlier, that then that's why again, like what you guys talked about just now, and as I stated, that it's easy to destroy something than
Yep.
build it. It really
Facts.
is, and that's
exactly.
those individual ignorances. Again, like I said, it's again, it don't take much. It don't take much to ruin something because all the work that you put into it, and then it's like again, they have that mindset. It's like, oh, I can destroy this, little to no problem. And if you try to, fix it up, they know how hard that work is going to be because they don't want to do it themselves. So
Yep.
Right.
Right.
they're gonna rely on you.
Well, Magic Mulata, I'll be leaving, but it was nice to be on your server, and I will support your channel always.
I appreciate you so much. Thank you. Do you have a channel?
No, too
Yes,
good.
it's Don Amanda Robles.
Please subscribe
Well,
and support as well. I appreciate that. I'm gonna give you the same support. I
Support me
appreciate
yeah,
it.
as well.
I'm just
Yeah,
gonna
I'll
write.
support you as well.
Yeah, me
Yeah, so
too.
Yeah.
guys, thank you for
Mhm.
being here. I love your perspective. I appreciate you.
Yeah, I'm like,
And
yeah,
then they put me in my
I
house.
like this, but yeah, though, but and that's the thing too. And like I said, the ignorance, yes, definitely needs to be exercised, and you definitely need to have like strong, bold leaders that's not necessarily afraid of criticism and who can take criticism.
Yeah,
And
and I want people to step up. I do. I want to encourage that. I want.
because you still have this too many chiefs, not enough Indians kind of
Hmm.
mentality too.
I don't
Because it's
think
like,
Yeah,
people
we need more people.
have
We need
chief.
more people to run the
Nobody want to be
therapy.
a leader. That's the
And
problem.
most
I
of
don't
the
think we have
time,
any.
people,
Well,
most of the
leadership
time,
is really
people have to
hard.
do it.
Leadership is
well,
putting
yeah,
yourself
yeah,
in
yeah,
the
you gotta
line
do
of
Yeah,
both.
fire.
you
And
have to
some
be like a
people,
real
it doesn't matter whether you do things, it doesn't matter whether you do things right or wrong. They're just gonna criticize you for
Easy
different
come,
reasons.
easy go.
So
right.
that's what makes like leadership really hard. Like whether or not you're right or wrong, there's gonna be people who try to, mess everything up. The same people who are gonna tear up things that you built. You're talking about like ignorant people who, as soon as you build something really nice, they're going to come and tear it down. The same goes for leadership. When you have sometimes a great leader, you're going to have people looking to just tear that leader down. And it doesn't have to be a good reason. They just don't want to see somebody else enjoying something or doing good.
Mhm.
So like you were pointing out, Magic Mulata, it's the crabs in a barrel mentality. And I would say they always points at the black community and say only the black community has crabs in a barrel mentality. But I also think the white community has a little bit of a crabs in the barrel mentality too.
Yes.
And like when you
Yes.
see the Trump presidency, to me that was crabs in a barrel because this group is after that group and that group is after this group, and all of them were white. So I wouldn't think it's
They have
exclusive to a
yes.
race.
For sure, that's so true. But y'all gotta realize we've been leaders before, like in the black community. When it comes to like Frederick Douglass, Malcolm X, um, Rosa Parks, we've been leaders, and we have a track record of being amazing leaders. Have done a lot of things like for the black community. You know what I'm saying? And I love that. I'm so happy. Like that makes me proud as like a MLS person. As a
Absolutely.
mixed person that we've been leaders and we made positive changes for the black community. Like I celebrate that. I love that. And
Actually, I
I
could trace
do.
our actually I could
Yeah.
trace our leadership all the way to 1,000 years ago.
Yeah, we have a track record of being like amazing leaders. I do believe fully like we could do the same for our own community. We could be those same amazing, passionate,
And don't we already have a culture? I mean,
yeah.
basically,
Yeah,
yeah.
we could build I think
No, don't
like
we already have
he
one?
said he said be an angel leader for yourself, honestly. And that is the main that's very important because if you're not leading your own life, if your life is nowhere, if you're not going to
How
do
you
nothing with
think?
your life, you can't really be a
How you,
leader. You got to be able to like
That's so
if you
true.
can't do your own life, how you gonna think you're gonna lead somebody else's life?
exactly. So it's like you got to be able to lead your own life and achieve your own goals and do what you want. You know what I'm saying? Be in a position where it's like you're in a good position. You've led yourself to success first, and then you could help lead other people to success. So that's what I want to encourage in our communities, like leading yourself to success, like setting your goals. If you want to build a business, if you want to have a family, if you want to date another MLS person, because a lot of people are so defeatist when it comes to like, oh, it's not that many of us out here. We don't. There's too many. But if you really make that a goal for yourself and you want to have like an MLS family or whatever, you could do that. Like, be successful. You could do
I
that. Don't
mean,
sit here with like self-defeatist
no matter
mindset.
who we date, our mix is gonna stay in anyway. So it
Exactly. So if
doesn't
you want
really
to have
matter.
a family, there's nobody holding you back from having a family. It's not feminists, it's not lesbians. Nobody's holding you back from having a family if you want to do that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like don't have a self-defeatist mindset where it's like, oh, all these people, you can't be a leader if you're gonna have a self-defeatist mindset and you feel like all these people are like holding you back. You got to learn how to overcome. Like, that's been the whole history of like mixed leadership, like overcoming the obstacles of, white supremacy and white you
Yeah,
know,
I agree. I agree. Being able to see the obstacles and being able to defeat them head on and not getting like defeated or like making excuses or like playing the victim,
Bad.
just pushing forward. I agree.
Yeah.
And prioritizing and focusing.
Exactly. And there's a lot of mixed leaders in the past. They had to overcome. They were enslaved too. They had to overcome slavery. They had to overcome a lot of shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? So bye, Blasian. Thank you. So it's like we gotta. So when it comes to like these online communities, I feel like if we look at the past and we're inspired by like the leaders of the past, I feel like this is really we really got it good, really. What if we got to deal with some trolls online, some trolls, some weirdos? Okay, the worst is like getting doxxed. Okay, that's the worst thing that can happen, right? Getting doxxed. I think that is bad. That is terrible. That's horrible. I don't think people should be doing that. I don't think, getting doxxed or trolls or I think that's bad. I think that's out of pocket. I
I think
don't
it's bad too. I think it's really, really bad. Instead of doxing people, people need to start debating what these issues are, or debating, or just discussing it. Sometimes it's just a discussion. It's not even a disagreement. It's like people didn't respect each other, or they were felt hurt by something someone said, and then they decide to do something like that. But I definitely agree there should not be any doxing whatsoever. And
I don't
to me, it just prevents people from even having discussions in the space.
exactly. Exactly. Because I like debating. I think debating is healthy. It's good to like talk to people who have different viewpoints than you, and so we don't become like an echo chamber. Just all of us regurgitating the same talking points over and over and over. Like I think that's I don't like that. That's how. But if like people come in, they have different viewpoints. They don't agree with your viewpoints. I think communication is so important. Having like a civil communication instead of just being like, "Oh, I hate you," and you know what I'm saying? I don't think that's healthy. I think that I want to welcome anybody on my platform who have different views, different opposing viewpoints. You know what I'm saying? Of course, if they want to build their own community, I'm not gonna stop them. They can have their own community of like
Right.
a space. I think that's wonderful. I'm not gonna sit here and talk them out of it or try to say, "Oh, what you're doing is wrong." I'm not gonna do none of that. But if you want to come in, like, in our space, we could still talk about like why you'd want to have a different space. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I just want to like talk things out so we can have a good standing. So it's not like we're parallel with each other or we're like clashing. Where it's like you can have your own. We can be at peace with each other. You know what I'm saying? That's what I want. I would want to be at peace with other communities versus us like clashing and always like butting heads because we have these two crazy opposing viewpoints instead of trying to come to an understanding with each other.
Oh,
Right.
absolutely, absolutely. And even for me, it's like, yo, I'm never, and again, I never once said that, especially like with the point that you made earlier about the whole dating and mating process. I'm not saying that I'm not saying that I'm against it. I'm never against it. I'm like, I would love to see more of us like that,
Yeah.
come together like that, especially
Promote that.
as a, again, as a group, and then the population can expand greater than what it is today. I'm all for that.
Yeah,
But
I
at the
think
same time,
Not the
but
future
then,
is golden and coming up.
but at the same time, it's
Oh, my
like,
camera.
we,
That's my back room. But I actually have to get off of this stream, and it was really nice. I appreciate everybody
it was
allowing me to
awesome.
join the stream. It was fun. I'll talk to you guys
you know,
later.
Bye.
nah,
I
it's
think
all
I might
right.
We'll
close the
stay up.
stream
Okay,
out.
we stay on.
I think I might close it
Easy
out.
come, easy
But
go.
can we stay up? Like, can we like? Oh, you can
Yeah,
close it out.
yeah,
Can we stay up?
chilling. It's gonna be a long stream. I was trying to keep it under, but it's good. I'm having a good. I actually like it. I like getting together, you guys. I was feeling kind
Well,
of
actually, let me
bad
share my
earlier.
screen and show you the news.
Okay, go ahead.
That was added. Okay, give me a second. You could continue talking. I'll tell you when I can pull it up.
Oh my God.
But yeah, though, but again, at the same time, I'm also, again, am about sort of being realistic about certain
Oh
things
yeah, for
that
sure.
a lot of
It's
things
about what
may not
people want.
that a lot of things may not necessarily, again, be at, you may not have the advantage over certain things that you may want. And so you just gotta figure out that, hey, you may have to move a certain way. You have to do things a certain
True,
rather
true,
just
true.
just
But
rather
I
than just
definitely feel like um I don't know if I agree with that. I don't know because I feel like if you want a certain thing, yeah, there's gonna be obstacles and stuff that come in between it. But some people don't like, I don't know, because your wants change all the time, right? So if somebody was like, "Oh, I want an MLS family," but then
and
they
then
meet somebody
again, it's like
they like, and then their
the
wants change. It's like, okay, well, I don't want that anymore. Maybe I want to have a family with this person, and that's perfectly okay. Like, because
most
people change all the time. They change their perspectives, change their viewpoints, and that's
It's
perfectly
showtime, baby.
fine
Let's
too.
go, baby.
but then it's also like, okay, well, let's talk about, again, wants versus need.
Exactly.
What is a want and what is a want and what is a need?
And that's going to
It's
be
like
highly individual, like versus like what do you need is like what do you need? What is going to fit you the most? Oh, that's
pretty
cool.
much,
I see.
again, it's like,
See,
like
guys.
on the individual basis versus a collective basis. Now, as a collective, yeah, we can all come together and have dialogue and have fun, laugh, tell jokes, do whatever, and talk about building and all that. Hey, I'm all for that. I like that, but you can do that,
Well,
but
well, in my opinion, we should yeah we should do all that, but we should also be thinking about next generation and generations to come, and we should have a
Yeah, I think
culture
it's a big
so we don't have
picture,
to suffer
right?
the same thing we suffering right now. With the black
right.
community and stuff. And again, I have nothing against black people. I just have something against those who hate us
Yeah, the
in
anti-mix,
disguise. Just the same
anti-mix
for the white. Just the
stuff.
same for white
Yeah,
people. I
the
have nothing against them.
anti-MLS folks who,
Right.
who
Yes. Oof.
have this
They're
mindset,
prevalent.
we shouldn't exist because of just for the sake of not existing because
Right. Because of
Yeah.
one of our different
They view
races.
us, they view our parents as like a race traitor. If you date outside of your race, then you're a race traitor and
Also,
you're
what do
no
y'all
longer
got? What do you guys think about Eurasians?
the Eurasians. I love Markiplier. I love him.
Here, I'll share my
I,
screen again, guys.
okay.
I'll show
I
you
think they're
who
cool.
this
I
is.
love them, of course.
It's showtime, baby. Let's go, baby.
Let me see.
and luckily for me today, I was able to fix my PS4.
Oh,
It
you
was
did
down for
it. Awesome.
it was down for a couple of days due to the bad resettings and all that. So I'm like, all right, I'll just take the hard drive out and place it back in, clean it out, such and such. And it is, even though it's kind of running slow, but it still works.
That's awesome. Good job. I will do StreamYard. So next time I'm gonna be on StreamYard, so Jose could be a part of the conversation. I love his inputs and stuff. He's like a wise people. I will
Oh
do
yeah.
that.
So
Okay, guys. You guys have any final thoughts or anything? I think this was an awesome stream. I'm happy. Everybody, thank you guys so much for joining. I loved it. It really boosted my mood to talk to you guys.
wait. What y'all guys think about that?
Oh, the mixed dish language. Did you do that? Who did that?
No, I'll pull it back up.
Pull it back up one time.
It's showtime, baby. Let's go, baby.
Yeah.
Let me see. It says mixtures of or relating to people of land, culture, history. Me and my friends speak mixtures. Love learning the history. Did you buy the mixtures, girl? So did you add that?
No.
Somebody added that. Okay, you're spreading the culture. I'm here for it. I love it. You sharing the culture. You keeping the culture alive. Keeping the language alive. A lot of languages die. There's so many
Oh yeah.
dying
Dying
languages.
languages.
Yeah. And
Also,
there's
here's a summary of what it is.
Mixed dish is it forgotten? Oh, they said it's forgotten Gaelic language spoken by mixed race people from the early BC area until the late 19th. That's so interesting. I need to learn more about this. Like, write a book. Like, I want to know a book about this topic. Just learn English.
Absolutely.
But in 2010, the language was found to be spoken by 1,500,000 people, but only 500 people can speak mixed fluently. Wow. Okay, we need to interview some people. We need to find some people who can speak this language.
Right.
I want to know where they at. One quote man said in the early 1800s about. I'm about to freaking hold on. Let me YouTube that real quick. I want to see if there's anybody out there on YouTube or the internet somewhere that speak that
Right.
language. Mixed dish language. No, not that. Oh my God, I don't think I will find it. There's only 500 people. Oof.
Yep.
Oh, well, I want to find
Yeah,
one person.
here's another thing about it before we end it out.
Okay.
So let me share my screen.
Okay.
It's showtime, baby. Let's go,
Oh, there's
baby.
Gigi. Oh my God, it's okay, Gigi. It's all good. My God, I'm praying for you, girl. You're gonna be fine. You're gonna be okay. Just take care of yourself. Relax. You take your medicine. Oh my goodness. Take the test because sometimes it might not be that. Just get your those little free tests they do so you could see like for
Okay,
sure.
this some also some research people made and she
Okay.
uploaded.
Mixed principles, mixed race. Oh, okay. So this started out in England, right?
What?
Like
Just keep reading.
She, still with her people, which were mixed race, were very close with her mother and father, but mainly mother. She had two siblings by the same parents who was named Ola. Ola, her older sister Billy, who was what? Older sister and Billy, who was her brother, native language spoken mixed, which was old mixed. That's so interesting. In the Middle Ages, I want a whole freaking Netflix show about this. Hold on. One son died in 1389 for murder. Dang, she got died. She died. She, her husband, son, one, two, and two granddaughters. They all died. Like they all got killed off, or just one of them died for murder.
Wow.
They all got killed off. Oh my God.
It was by this took place in Africa actually.
That's
And
crazy.
people don't want to
They
tell
got
you that
killed in
white people
Africa?
are from Africa also. Yes.
Everybody pray for Gigi. Okay? She says she's
All right.
sick.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hope you feel better.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
All good. Take care of yourself and
like,
relax. That's very interesting. I definitely am intrigued and I want to learn more about that. And thank you for sharing that.
yes, I told y'all it was a culture.
That's very interesting. Thank you. Yeah, let's make people more aware of that. That's very interesting history right there. I love history, of course.
People don't want to tell y'all about that.
I'm gonna look more into that. I need to know.
Mhm.
I need to know because that's like buried history. Thank you, my bad. I'm scared of the test.
Mixed people are basically they are mixed race.
I just gave my son a COVID test and it was negative and he was coughing, coughing. And yeah, the school made him take a test. So it was negative. It's okay.
That's good.
Oh yeah, thank God.
Hey, well, and the up here, the weather is fluctuating.
Oh
So
yeah, it is. It is this that time of the season too, It's just probably a
yeah.
little, change of season.
We're gonna be looking like white people after a while.
I know, I'm gonna be people. So true. I got sick and get
We're
a test.
gonna
So I
be
don't know if I had
no
it. I
more
know
and it's
I had it at one point. It was bad. Okay,
But
guys. This was fun.
wait,
I
so
had
we continue to stay on here and you can just end out the screen.
okay.
You
I
know
should
the
probably
live. Not the screen, the live.
take care of these babies. These babies. Yeah, a lot of work. So what y'all hold on. I need to know more about the
Ooh.
mix. stuff.
Yeah, you know, and then again, I do want to, definitely get back to sort of learning like the basic sayings and the basic words and all that of the language too.
Mixed
Mhm.
language. Look it
Yeah,
up.
it's like when James come in, he'll say hello, he'll say it, and
1398.
how hello is said, it's spelled with what was it, 3 L's?
No,
It's a mixed
Oh,
2
not
L.
3 L's. Oh,
People are
2 L's.
only thing that pops up is about that show, Mixed Dish.
Right.
Mixed Dish, what was that? Middle East, middle. It wasn't. What did it say?
Old
It
Mish.
said dialect language spoken by mixed people in the early BC area until the late 19th century.
You searched it up.
Oops. Yeah, I'm looking it up. Hold on. Forgotten dialect language spoken by mixed race people. There's gotta be something on the internet. There's everything on the freaking internet. Let me see. Gales. So there's Gales, Gaelic,
Gaelic is like
Gaelic, Celtic
people from
languages,
Ireland and stuff like that.
Welsh. Well, that's gonna be a freaking journey, like
Right.
trying to uncover that history because
I'm making a whole channel on it so we can do a panel on that channel.
yeah, because I need to know, is this freaking real?
Well, we know it's real, but we need more research.
I need more research on this. Yeah, we do.
Right.
It's gonna be whenever I got started with short throat, who knows? Yeah, I just
Mixed
got over
people are
oh,
mixed race
to
people. I repeat.
take your vitamins, those little emergency packets, those help. So
Mhm.
yeah, make sure you guys yeah, take
And
care
I'm
of
trying
yourself.
to make a country for those people too, which are us, basically.
Okay. I definitely need you to like give me some sources and some research so I could see
Right.
look more into it, you know.
Yeah.
And
I'll
we
make
praying
sure.
for our people, it's 6 season. People are getting, I just got over my whole family just got over a cold too. Yeah, emergency is good. I really like it a lot. Take some emergency gold off. Gigi. Take some of that. And yeah, anything else y'all want to talk about?
Yes.
I was gonna say, for me, I pretty much, again, Jay, I'm just, again, just kicking it with y'all and
It's fun.
enjoyed the
I have fun.
combo.
Wait, who else in here?
It's just me, you. It's just me, Fader Jake, but he's the producer. He's in the background. He's like, he's just helping produce everything. And then James and Aaron. So it's just us three talking in here.
Oh,
Yup. All right, y'all. I think,
that's how that came up.
yep. Yep. Because I did it through Discord, I didn't do it through StreamYard. Maybe next time, because maybe next time I'll do it through StreamYard. So like more people can come up, you know?
Mhm.
Yeah,
I'm
I feel
actually
like,
gonna
hey,
promote the language
let's say,
everywhere.
what'd you say?
I'm actually gonna promote the language everywhere, and that can actually be an ethnicity. It actually say ethnicity, actually, and
What'd you say?
basically it actually ethnicity, actually
It's a what?
ethnicity.
Oh, okay. 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 I don't know. I think we ran out of stuff to talk about, guys.
Okay.
I think this was
What
good though.
about
I liked a lot.
search up Cornish?
What'd you say?
Search up Cornish.
When are you gonna do a live? I need you to do a live, James, about like the mixed dish. When are you gonna do that?
I'm gonna do
I
one
will.
day.
I've been on that OJ. Yes, the OJ is good too.
I'm gonna have to do more research, just like for my other screens coming up.
I can look into that. Not OJ. Yes. Okay.
So what's up? Welcome to Discord.
Oh, what's up? I thought you left my Discord. Did you come back just now? Hold on. Let me. No, you did just come back just now.
Who?
What up? How are you doing? Thank you for being here.
What's up, yo?
What up? How you doing?
What up, dude?
What up?
What
I'd
up?
like to hear your opinion. Like you were talking about, you say a lot of good stuff. It may be controversial,
Let
but
me
I do
you
agree with a lot of things you say. I disagree with a lot of things you say, but I do appreciate your perspective on things, I think it's very
What,
insightful.
what would you possibly disagree on?
A lot of stuff.
Like what?
I disagree on a lot of stuff.
Okay, fine.
It's
What's
okay
up,
to disagree.
AMR?
Don't take it
No, what's
personally.
up, man?
Nah, I just want to know. Uh, hmm.
But I agree with a lot of stuff, like what you were saying about like how we should like you always make good points about like how we should move as a people and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's all about how you move. That's really what it comes down to. Like,
I think that's actually good.
see, like a lot of black folks, they kind of messed up by like overly identifying with other groups, and not all these groups are hostile towards them. You feel what I'm saying?
POC
So,
grouped up to everybody.
so that's kind of like how you should move as like a mixed mulatto person, right?
What we shouldn't identify with like people or
Overly identified with like people and stuff, right?
yeah. But
Yeah, because
that's
like you see how like all groups in this country
like
move, Middle Easterns, Indians, Asians, Latinos, like they all act like real segregated type of thing.
that's something I kind of disagree with you on about like how MGN people and biracial people should be set. Was that something?
we should
Hello?
be so.
How like
What?
it's hard, like how you said it's hard. You can't really identify in biracial people. You know what I'm saying? It was like I was kind of like, oh, so that made me feel like you would want like MGM people and biracial people to be separated. So I was like, oh, I kind of disagree with that because
I
that's
mean,
our key.
they're
That's our
already separate. Like a lot of MGM groups in this country, they're already doing their own thing. They're just mind their business for the most part. You know what I mean?
so
Do you
yeah.
Biracials have this issue because they're a new group, right? Because they're fresh stock. So that's why there's this issue, identity issue.
biracial not
If we talk
easy?
about mixed race
Not easy.
communities and stuff that have been hidden out all over the nation, they were probably started by biracial people and then they become MGM communities, right? So it's
Yeah,
like
yeah, you have like, and if you go more into just the white black or just black admixture sort of thing, like this groups like the Lumbee and stuff. A lot of native tribes are like mixed descent. You know what I mean? It just goes on and on. Like, or like
are you
Louisiana Creoles are like a group.
Are you ever gonna do that travel channel where you travel to these communities and like interview them? And I really want. I'm so interested in that. Like I
Yeah,
want to see that.
because you notice them because of their phenotypes, because of the way they look different, right? So if I go to like any part of the country, like you notice these different subgroups, right? Um, Now like, and the thing is, the country's so big, it's what 330 million people. So it's like, how do you identify with millions of people? You know what I'm saying? That's the thing, right?
Yeah, all
So,
share.
huh?
So we
I think,
all like have different phenotypes, and we're always creating new phenotypes and stuff like
yeah,
that.
it
So
is.
it's like
Yeah, then
I
it's the
don't know.
cultural background of these different groups. Like, like again, even whites, they call themselves whites, but they really move separately, under the white umbrella, right?
And yeah, me personally, I feel like I could identify with like because I'm a first generational biracial person. So my mom's black and then my dad's white. So it's like I feel like I could identify with people who because these are the most like extreme opposite phenotypes, right? But I feel like I could identify with people of different phenotypes because I have
Yeah,
like
yeah,
two.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, we can, right? Based off of like, cultural or ideological similarities and stuff like that. But
Yeah,
it's
that's what
like,
I was
what, like, could I
We're not
identify with like somebody who looks like me from New York City? Like, not really,
no
right? Because it's culturally it's a lot
value
different.
I mean,
What?
I
how we
don't
share
think we should compare it to that. I mean, we
experiences.
are
So
kind of the same. I mean, no matter what a white person is, they're still white. I mean,
Yeah, they're
I don't
still
know.
white. That's just their ethnicity or their race, right? But culturally, they may be this or that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, do something else.
You can't make 150 million people a monolith. I mean, for the most part, right? You got like Amish, you got Mormons, you got like white Spanish, you got European immigrants, you know what I'm saying? You got Southern whites, country whites, city whites, suburban whites, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, it's like all
No,
based
like
on different culture. Most people identify more with culture than they do
English
phenotype.
white.
Yes,
Right.
yeah, culture is more like realistically,
Got
culture is like slightly more
It is
so than phenotype.
more. Even like white people who are like in class, right? Culture and class are like two more.
Yeah,
Like I think,
class is a big thing too. Yep.
yeah, I think that's more important than phenotype. You know
Mm-mm.
what I'm saying? Because
Yeah, that,
like
for a lot of people
like
that's more important. Like,
it is more important, especially in like white communities. You know, they don't want to associate. Like if you're freaking a Paris Hilton, you don't really want to associate with somebody who is broke. Basically, that's like a
yeah,
class.
yeah,
You know what I'm
classes.
saying? Like it's like it's a class thing. Like a lot of people are classes. Like that's a big freaking
Yeah.
thing.
And
So
you
it's
live in like major
because
cities, it's worse because the amount of rich people in major cities is always a lot more than like, you know what I mean, than like if you live in Kentucky.
how do you think that affects us, like as like mixed people, like the classism and the cultural issues? Because it's
Well,
like I don't know. What?
it's a big proponent because of if you like you're like if you live in Kentucky, you can relate more to like anybody, right, of any race or group. But whereas like you live in like New York City, you're gonna have a hard time relating to people because of the whole class thing and that
No,
whole
I heard
culture paradigm.
they got they're exposed, like in New York City. This is what I've heard. That you are exposed to every single like there's every single body. Everybody's in New York. Every single culture. There's all
Yeah,
different class. You're exposed to everybody and all
it's a
things. So I
major
think
immigration hub. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. So maybe you would be able to identify more because you're exposed to that culture more. So you could
You're
like
exposed, but they still segregate themselves, right? Like,
yeah.
and I think they might even go harder for segregating themselves because too many different groups, sort of thing. Because this, like, they do like a lot of people like really rep their stuff hard. I'm Italian, right? I'm Italian, or you're a Dominican. You got the Dominican flag in your car, in your window, in your apartment, on your phone.
But
Or English, the
at the
same.
same time, you can't really like you could probably find somebody like in NYC that you could relate to. It's not like the whole everybody in NYC you can't relate to nobody. Like you could go to NYC and find somebody.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think you
exactly.
go. I truly believe you could connect with somebody. You could go to Africa. You could go to Europe. You could go to Asia. You could go to. I believe there's somebody you could connect because on a human level, you could connect with people. I truly believe that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Maybe not on like the super deepest level where you guys are like, you know what I'm saying? But on some level, I do believe you could have a human connection with anybody, anywhere you go. That's why people love traveling because they like to connect with like different cultures and different people because it's like it's different. At the same time, we're both human and we both share a human experience and there's gonna be things we don't have in common. But there's all I believe like you could always find something you have in common with anybody. I do believe that. So you could have like that on a human
Yeah.
level, maybe on a cultural level, not on a
Yes,
class
the
level.
cultural, classes,
There's a
ideological.
different levels to everything, but on I think the basic level of connection is on a human level because we're both humans. But we don't
Yeah,
maybe we don't
yeah, that. I mean, we're all human, right? I mean, and
yeah.
realistically, we're all directly related, like if you go back far enough.
Yeah, exactly. And I do think you could form like powerful connections with people on a human level, even though you guys don't share the
Yeah,
same class, race, culture,
tribal, yeah, like
you know?
tribal
Same,
unionship.
you don't
Yeah,
have we don't come from the same tribe, but it takes like a certain type of person to do that because some people only want to be around people who share the same culture or share the same phenotype,
yeah,
which
yep.
oh but there's other people. There is people who do like me. I like connecting on a human level because
Yeah, yeah,
I
more
like that.
culturally
But not
fluid, right?
everybody's like that. Obviously not everybody's like that.
Yeah, a
So you
lot of
gotta
people
find
are like
people.
hostile, they gatekeep,
Most
all that
people are
stuff.
gatekeep. They only want to connect with people who look like them or think like them, or that's a lot of people. But there is people out there that like to connect on, and if you could find people like that, if you're like that, but it's all about like your mindset, Because I've connected with people from all different races and all different cultures, and as Americans, because we're American, we could that's what we there's all different. We're a multicultural country, right? So
Yeah,
I
exactly.
think
Yeah,
we have to
multicultural.
learn how to connect on a human level, or there's always going to be conflict and always going to be freaking bullshit. Like you'll just not be able to live unless you learn how to connect on a human level. Because if you're always only wanting to like
push people away who are not like you and only want to surround yourself with people who are like you. I think that that has like a place, right? I guess, you know, if you that's what we're doing right now in these communities. We're not really pushing nobody away. I feel like we've been pushed away. You know, we were the ones that were pushed away. Like, hey, we don't want these mixed people. We don't want them representing us. We don't want them we don't want them taking our roles. We don't want them you know, we don't want them to face this blackness. We were the ones who were pushed away, and now we're forming our own community. So
Wait,
it is.
can I respond to this comment? So how could I possibly the features go? How could I possibly relate to people from New York City? Like how exactly could I? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, I just explained it. Like
Well,
I
yeah,
explained.
but I'm talking about like the average New Yorker. Like that's what I'm trying to say. Like
You know, you don't
because
know everybody in New York. You don't know what you could
well, yeah, of course I can find somebody, but I'm just saying just in generalities, like the average New Yorker. Like how exactly could I like relate to them if they're from a whole cultural region? You know what I'm saying? Like they have experiences and things that don't exist in other parts of the country. So that's the point I'm getting to. Like if you grew up in the mountains of Kentucky, you know what I'm saying, your cultural experiences are going to be completely different than somebody who grows up you know, in New York City, right? A metro of about 20 million people.
watching something. Also, my job. So I got promoted at my job, right? And they're making us watch like leadership videos and there's this one video, it was called like Simon's Check, and he was talking about how he was talking kind of like that. He was like, oh, you know, like, oh, he explained it so well. I'm gonna share it with you. But he was saying how, like, okay, so supposedly you're in America, right? And then you go to New York and you find somebody from LA, and you're like, oh, we're both from LA, we can relate. And then you go to Europe, and then you're from LA, and you meet somebody from New York, and you're like, oh, we're both from America, we can relate. You know, so it's like you're always looking for people who have symbols, or like say you're in a foreign country and you hear an American accent, like that's like a symbol of people that
She's
you
saying how
know.
they different. Like, what do you
No,
mean?
it's
How
a
do
symbol of
if you
people
go
who.
if you move to Detroit from New York City, it's gonna be a different cultural experience. You know what I mean?
But we're always
Detroit is
looking
like
for community. We're always
Detroit is like
looking for a sense of
88% black, and New York is like super diverse. You know what I mean? That's a big difference. Like, you're not gonna like it in Detroit if you're from New York, because it's gonna be very boring.
Yeah, because look, no, human beings are always looking for a community because you only like a lot of people you only could really trust people in your community, right? That's what humans do. So we're always looking for people who like are you could relate to, or you could feel like you could. So if you could relate to somebody, you could feel like you could trust them. So that's what people want to build at the end of the day.
Yeah,
Is
yeah, it comes to that. But like, realistically, if I didn't watch New York movies, then I wouldn't even know like culturally anything about New York. You know what I'm saying? Like their
Yeah.
slang, their how they move, how they conduct. They got subways and stuff. Like most of the country does not have subways or anything like that. You know, I wish they did. Like subways, I always thought subways were cool. You know what I'm saying? Like in the Midwest, they do have like uncompleted subway tunnels that because they were at one point they were trying to do that, but they stopped doing it. So there's like still underground tunnels where they were building subways. They never finished because Michigan decided, since that's the car capital of the country, right? All American cars come from Michigan. They decided they want to do highways instead of subways and trains. So it's a city for cars, right? New York is a
Yeah.
city for walkers. That's a big culture difference right there in itself. New York City is a city for walkers. Detroit is a city for cars. It's built for cars.
Yeah.
You know, the big five, right?
Yeah. I get you. I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. But
Yeah.
how do you
So,
treat people? How do you treat people who you don't relate to? How do you treat them? Do you treat them like with
uh,
mistreatment? Do you treat
no,
them like how
well,
do you
yeah,
treat
some people do that. Some people would like get the mistreating people, right? But my thing is like, I don't give a fuck. I don't care if you're American or if you're an immigrant or whatever, right? Like, if you're culturally different than me, then I just treat you like, you know, like the way I treat anybody else.
right? That's how you should. You shouldn't treat nobody. That's a problem. A lot of people do. If you meet somebody who you don't relate to, it's like you treat them bad, or you treat them like you don't treat them good. I don't believe in like I don't believe in
Yeah.
it. I think we should treat people, you know, with respect if you relate to them or not. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's an important point to talk about. You know, and you know that applies to us as mixed people. A lot of people feel like they can't trust mixed people because we're culturally different. We know we think different because we have different experiences, right? They feel like they can't relate to us. So, they feel like they can't trust us, or they treat us like, oh, we can't relate to these mixed people, so we're going to treat them like shit. Like that happens to mixed people a lot. So that's why I'm so like,
Yeah, a lot of people
no,
do a lot of projection for like
yeah,
whatever they feeling. I don't know what's in the minds of these people why they would do that, but like clearly they have a predisposed prejudice that they're holding
yeah,
on to, and they wouldn't take it out on somebody.
exactly. It's a lot like prejudice. Yes, exactly. That's very. I think that's what we deal with a lot. Is like we deal with a lot of prejudice. And everybody, I think everybody, every racial group or every tribe or whatever, I think they all deal with it at some point, I guess, because all it takes is, okay, somebody outside of the group, oh, you have one bad experience with one person inside of the group, and then you stereotype them all, like they're all like this,
Yes,
That's all it
exactly.
takes. That's all it takes is one bad experience from one group, and all of a sudden you're prejudiced because that's what you feel like, you have a negative viewpoint on all of everybody in that group. So that it happens, and humans are, a lot of humans are fucked up. So yeah, you're most likely you're gonna encounter somebody from every group or any group that's fucked up. So I don't
Yeah,
know.
I think one big issue is like a lot of people they automatically think they can like how can I put this? I just stopped. Never mind.
What did you got? Go ahead.
No, because I don't know how it will fit in what we're talking about anymore. So like I don't want to say it.
Okay. I drove in NYC taxis. It was like Grand Theft Auto. Oh my god.
Yeah, exactly. Taxis is a thing out there. Like nobody uses taxis in Michigan.
I loved it. I loved it. I was in New York during Christmas. I think one of my ex-boyfriends took me there during Christmas time. It was so awesome. I loved it. I was in the Dominican part of it. It was like that's probably why I liked it because I don't know Dominican people. I love Dominican people, so it was fun. I liked it a lot. I had a great experience in New York. So you know,
Yeah, it's cool tourist, but like you live there. You're gonna feel the city for what it is, the goods and the bads, right?
I had a great time. I don't know about living there. That probably I don't know about. I never like lived. I was there for like a month or something, but it was fun. I had
Yeah,
a great time. I loved
I
it. I don't
personally
feel
could.
like
I I wanted to live there at one point. But I would change my mind on it because I don't know if I can do like city culture, like far as like being overcrowded and stuff like that. I found out over time I prefer like my space. So like me,
always
it's like, huh?
just to see what it's like. I've always wanted to live there. I don't know. I want to. Maybe I'll go there. Maybe I'll move there for like a year. But it's so expensive. I got kids.
Well, that's why I
It,
like to see, and that's why I like to travel, right? Because if I travel, I can go to all these areas whenever I want, type of thing. But without actually having to live there. Like if you travel a lot of people don't travel a lot. A lot of people travel like once every blue moon, once every 5 years. However, most people don't even travel like that, right? So traveling like even if like you live in Northwest, you can go to like Northern California or something, stuff like that.
it's nice. Yeah. I do want to travel more. Really, I definitely do. I definitely do. I think
Yeah,
that
traveling is a big thing for me because I get bored easily. So
exactly, exactly. So that kind of makes me think like it made me think about how if we do build a community, we would be like want tourists, like would we want people to visit our communities and like treat them with hospitality and treat them with like what I'm saying? When you go to other communities, I like going to other communities that are welcoming to like outsiders, who want to share their culture, who want to share who they are, what they're about, and their food and their customs. I think that's nice. So what do y'all think about that? Like I think that's cute.
Oh, you know what, and that's the thing too, and also it's like, and also like what y'all was pointing out, it's like, I look at it as, you have different types of, military personnel from Army, Navy, Marines, Texas Rangers, Army Rangers, all that. Now, going back to like what y'all said, is like, well, how can you relate? How can somebody can relate? Well, or not relate? Well, if you never served, then it's impossible that you really can. Now you may know somebody who served. It's like, okay, hey, thank you for your service. But at the same time, it's like the Army and the Marines or in the Navy, right? Yeah, they're servicemen and women, but they go about their training and stuff or how they do things differently. They still have to
Really?
wear a uniform. But go ahead.
Me?
So it's like, because for me, it's like, hell, I grew because like hell, like because my dad was in the service and I grew up, as a military dependent. And so that's why I was able to live in multiple different states and other cities and all that.
Hey.
And and so when you move like or when you have the PCS like every other 2 years and such, yeah, it does get kind of difficult because because like when you get used to it because you're moving into a different state or to a different city or different town and all that, and you gotta get used to um what's the usual, what's not so usual, trying to go to a different school versus the schools that you may have been in to where they really didn't care about a whole lot. Like you didn't really have to do much versus where you go to another school or another facility where you really gotta sort of adapt. But at the time, and it can be a little bit over the top with some of the stuff that they put in their regulations. And yeah, some people may look at that as a hard time, but the thing is like, yeah, yes. And it's like,
Hmm.
and even as as an MLS community, and I'm not saying, oh, every MLS person got to wear a uniform. Like, no, I'm not saying that at all. But the thing is, um, and I'm not saying we got to be military operated, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, even though there's like different branches of servicemen and service titles as such, like the Army, Navy, Marine Corps, um, Army Rangers, and all that, vice versa. Yeah, it's like how can you relate? Well, hey, we both served, but under different, it's like, oh, you was in the Army. Well, I was in the Marine. In the Army, they may say "hua," Marine may say "simplify,"
Hmm.
but they still know what it's like to, serve the country, go into wars,
Hmm.
PCS, and all that.
Wait,
But
okay.
and it does also, but the training does also comes into play as well.
So, isn't a community like, okay, there's people in the army, there's people in the automotive industry, there's people in the food industry, there's people in the tech industry, like all these different industries, and they all can't relate to each other because they're all in different industries, have a different interest and different, but they're all like at the end of the day serving each other and trying to help each other out. Like I'm in the freaking food industry and people come in from the tech industry and we give them food and they're helping us out because they give us tech. It's like a whole barter system, isn't it? Like it's like the army. I can't relate to what the army goes to. I've never been in the army. I've had I think my dad and my grandfather were in the army, but I didn't go to the army. So, but they're ultimately helping us out because they're defending and protecting us, even though we don't relate to each other because we all have different positions and different roles in the community, right? So it's like, I don't know. I don't think we should get too caught up in like how we relate to other people. Of course we want to. That's why we built these communities because we want to relate. That's very important. Like as a
No, I'm
human.
saying like that's what makes you culturally different, based off of how you can relate to a person. That's what makes you culturally the
Yeah,
same or
yeah,
different. Okay, so like MGM or like biracials, they can culturally identify with each other based off of similarities of phenotypes, right? So and now like culturally, can they identify with each other is a different story based off of their background, the cultural lineage, the region they grew up in, the city they grew up in.
And
Um,
especially America, I think they can. If we both are from America and we both, yeah, we could definitely culturally,
yeah,
or maybe we're not from the same region. Actually, yeah, we could
I
be
mean,
from the same region or
it's just different levels. It's just different levels to it. Like, okay, like I may like this light skinned chick, right? But like she's too country for me. You know what I'm saying? Or she's too city for me, right?
yeah.
See that's what I mean by that. Like a white person can be the same way. I like this white guy, but he's too this. Culturally he's too country. He likes horses and dogs and stuff, right?
My husband feels like he can't relate to nobody out here because he was born in the South and
Yeah,
He
exactly.
feels like he
Southerners will
really
have a hard time.
That's true. So it does make a yeah. I see what you're implying here. But
Yeah, because I wish I can just because that was the case. I like even like in my area like this, like MGM folks. I personally can't relate to them like that. They culturally a lot different than me. They never left their town. They ain't got much, they ain't really experienced with stuff like that, and they just, that just can't relate to them, even though they're
but if you
MGM, right?
don't have a strong culture that's like, your culture is like not really known or prevalent, or how do you, there's barely like how many people do you find that you culturally relate to? Are the only people from Detroit, or is like how do you
No,
find people?
just mainly the Midwest, like, and I do with north people from the northern South, like I could identify with the best people from the northern South, like the Appalachia area, and people from the Midwest. Um, right?
What is something that is like a value that you feel like is very important to you that you feel like you that's like a very strong cultural value that you hold on to that's very important to you that you want to find in other people so you can relate to them.
I have a variety of different things, like which I culturally like. 'Cause that's really the issue I run into, especially when I moved to a place like Florida. It was like, okay, you got people who look like you or whatever, or who may be the same ethnicity like as you, as black, right, whatever. But culturally, no, like it's gonna be a lot of nuances with this stuff. And Florida's the third most populated state, right? It's very diverse. It's more diverse than like Michigan, for example. So like
Yeah,
it's a much more diverse of a state overall because so many people want to move here.
I think
Like,
you know what? I think I felt like that when I was in Georgia. I was like, I really don't feel like I feel like I get along with people. Of course, like I met so many amazing people when I was in Georgia, of course, but I feel like there was like a cultural difference there. Like I was raised in Washington State and then I moved to Georgia. So there's going to be a big cultural shock and cultural difference there. You know what I'm saying? So I end up moving back here because I missed like that having been in that culture, I guess, that I was raised up in. So I guess, yeah, I guess you got a point. Got a good point.
Yeah, and the thing is, and because like like in comparison to like Florida and Detroit, because again, when you're in the Midwest, chances are you're gonna run into those cold fronts and snow and all that versus the average Floridian. They're not gonna necessarily relate because it's like, hey, they're down south and it's normally hot. I mean, not saying that it doesn't get cold, but people in the Midwest, they know how to prepare for that, just in case, if they ever have a cold front. But on the individual basis, like basically as human beings, like, hey, you may like the same things that I like, and whether we look alike or not, it's like, hey, I could still be cool with you,
Yeah, definitely.
still interact with you,
For
but
sure.
all this other stuff, it's like, hey,
Mm,
you may know some things you may know stuff that I don't know. I'm like, hey, if you're willing to help me
yeah,
out
I love learning from other
just in
people.
case, yeah,
I love
just in case, if I ever have to run into a situation like this, I would know exactly what to do, how to prepare, so I don't have to be stuck. Have to just be stuck where I am, like I got, glue on the bottom of my shoes and I can't move a step because I'm glued.
because you
So
have different experiences, so you would know how to like if I don't. But you guys made me think. So when it comes to culture, it's environment is everything. That's what I'm learning right here. Like your
right.
environment you come from is what shapes, what molds you, what basically. That's why I moved from Georgia. I was like, I want to raise the environment that you're raised in is so important.
yeah,
If you're
exactly. I like
it
some
is.
stank up on my cities. You know what I mean? I'm from the Midwest, the industrial belt, right? The Rust Belt. So I like some stank up on my cities, man. I come to some of these cities, they're too clean.
No, they're too clean. Oh my
Yeah,
God. That's what
yeah.
happened. No, no, no. You gotta freaking appreciate that because like where I'm from, like, the Pacific Northwest, like 10 years ago, it was the most cleanest cities. The cleanest cities were here. Seattle, like Portland, like the cleanest cities you could ever find. 10 years later, nothing but like homelessness. It's dirty. There's a bunch of homeless camps everywhere. It's nasty. It's horrible.
I heard
So you
about
got
that. I don't know why that's happening over there though. Like I heard like
it's
that
really
like
Right.
bad.
that
It's
Yeah.
threw me off.
You know
drug
what? And the
epidemic.
thing, you know what? And I can relate to that because, because like certain places where I go, like I could go to downtown Olympia right now and there will not be a day that goes by there won't be an abundance of
Yeah, it's
homelessness,
bad
or
out
even
here.
if I were to go.
Yeah, y'all on
But
the West Coast, y'all got worse homeless problems than like Eastern
It's
yeah,
Mississippi.
bad.
So I was shocked by that
yeah, we
shit.
do. And you know,
Bad.
and you know what, and you know what, and we also, and I think, and some of that does come from like people who have dabbled in into drugs, because we also got like a huge drug epidemic, up here too.
No, it's the fact that because
And
obviously, in the 80s, the crack epidemic and how hard they
oh
were on
yeah,
black people. They were throwing them up, locking away the key for a little dime bag of crack or whatever, giving them. But when it comes to the white community and they're over here in the drug epidemic and the fentanyl and the heroin and the freaking whatever they're doing, meth or whatever the fuck they got going on, they're freaking trying to legalize it all of a sudden. Oh, they want it to be legal. They wanted to freaking people just do whatever drugs they want. And now it's like they're creating all these freaking problems because when it was happening in the black community, they were freaking so hard on them. And I think it actually I think there was a silver lining there. A lot of black people, they stopped. It's not as prevalent as it was in A, but nowadays, like the freaking drug epidemic is so bad because they're not even doing it. They're not even locking that. They're not doing nothing. Like they don't. They're just letting it happen. Like they don't care. They're not freaking holding them accountable. So they're killing themselves basically because there's nobody. They're not getting locked up. They're just giving them free drugs. Like there's like these little places in Seattle. They're giving them free drugs, and it's just insane. It's like y'all are crazy. Like
See, that's the situation.
absolutely.
Any hopes of me moving to the West Coast like has died in the last five,
yeah,
6 years. But y'all have a lot
bad.
of problems. Like I don't want
A
to deal
lot of
with.
problems out here for sure, but I think we could overcome it. I think every
Oh yeah.
every area faces issues and problems, and I think that what they're doing for them. They're building them little tiny houses and stuff. So I think that's kind of cute. Like all over my city, there's like little tiny house communities that are popping up everywhere because they're taking a lot of action to help like the homeless community. So it's not, but they're. I don't think it's gonna be. I think they're taking action at least to like try to help them. But I think that just trying to legalize everything and trying to just slap them on the wrist and not freaking lock them up for 20 years like they did black people. I think they're just trying to be so soft on them. Like they're soft as fuck. Like that's the problem, that they're just being too soft.
Yeah, it's like and what you saying that really again makes me think. It's like, what, if you're gonna have the exact same smoke for everybody else, then you ought to have the
They
exact
don't.
same smoke.
They
Yeah,
don't.
and that right there is a problem. Is a
Oh yeah.
huge problem,
It pisses me off,
because it's
honestly.
like,
Mad.
because you can't have a different set of rules for a different set of
They do.
people,
They
but
really
they do. And because in a way, it's like you say, oh well, it's set up by design, and and again, it's like, and nobody is not going to necessarily gonna be comfortable with taking any action because they want to be content with the status quo. And I'm like, well, your status quo will be the downfall, unfortunately.
bullshit. I'm
Yeah.
very highly critical of I'm very highly critical and of that. I'm like, I hate how they have all this smoke for other communities. They want to demonize, other communities and look down on them. But when their community does this, the white community does the same exact action. They're so
Oh,
soft.
they
Oh,
talk. Yeah, it's like they want to build them an igloo or something, and I'm
yeah, that
like,
pisses me off. I'm like, y'all are freaking soft as fuck, but y'all got all the smoke when other people do the same. Like, it just pisses me off so bad. I'm like, ugh, y'all are freaking. I don't like that.
right. And you know what, and you know what, because like I remember I had an appointment, right, and there was this woman who was literally on the phone crying because she needed her morphine. And she was just literally just crying, just like pouring down on her tears. And now, if you ever go to the clinic and you'll see a little paper posted in the doctor's office saying that sorry, but clinics can't prescribe you with narcotics, and they have a list of narcotics that they don't prescribe. But because this woman was on the phone, literally in tears,
They gave her no way.
I don't, you know what? I don't know if they actually did or not, but if
No
they
way.
did, then I'm like, you know what? That right there, I'm like, okay, I'm definitely gonna have some, smoke and ammunition for that, because I'm like, first off, how
Ridiculous.
you gonna say that How are you going to make a disclaimer that, okay, you don't prescribe narcotics, or unless you're just, hoping that, oh, it's going to be a group of other people coming in like we do narcotics like that, and you still like are still holding out on this 80s crack epidemic era of people coming in, and I'm like, no, they're living in an alternate universe if they
That's
really think that that's the case. I mean, and again, let's be real. And even when you talk about, like, when people talk about the prison population, let's be real. The majority of people in prison are in there due to nonviolent crime. That's not no lie or exaggeration or fabrication. It's
That's
nonviolence.
you know what it is? It's just that's the whole superiority complex. When you view yourself as
Yeah.
superior, and you're gonna make excuses and blah, 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 and then when other communities do the same things, you're gonna like you look down on them and feel like, oh, it's just a superiority complex for me. I just I just don't like it. It's not good. That destroys communities. It really will. It'll
Yeah.
destroy your
Yeah.
community if you have a superiority complex.
And because in America, and because you know what, and I think because of what's going on right now, America is, and yeah, I know it's going to be uncomfortable even when I say this right here, that America literally is just going to have to really feel the pain and get
Yeah.
the bruntness of the taste of their own medicine, so they know exactly how
I'll
they
be
do other people, how they do other people. They gonna have to experience it for themselves. And now you got those that's crying right now, jumping and yelling and you know crying they crocodile tears, oh, simply because they don't like where they believe that the country is going. I'm like, well, you know what? It needed to go like this.
I believe what you put out there in the universe, what
Yeah,
you put out there,
it's gonna come
comes
back.
back to you. It always comes back to you. It does. If you treat people like shit, somebody's gonna treat you like shit. So you can know how that feels. That's the only way you can learn. So you could, we all got a hard lesson to learn sometimes. So it is what it is. As long as you
And you
learn.
know when and also, and another thing, because like I was at my boy's house, and my we had a mutual friend who was celebrating his birthday, and we was just talking about how we grew up, how we met in school, and how we hung out with the same type of people, and how we necessarily didn't really look at, you know, certain things the way we look at it and view it now, because at the time you just didn't really think about it, or not saying necessarily you didn't think about it, but you just didn't really care. It's like, hey, you get along with people, you get along with people. If you have the same interests as this person have, it was all good. But that still doesn't mean that you didn't have to, keep your eyes open or keep looking over your shoulder. Not saying that, but because normally,
Absolutely.
because in my neighborhood, we met each other just simply riding the school bus.
Yeah.
And
Proximity.
yeah, proximity. And we was talking about, you know what, and he had my boy had brought up the point, you know what, it could be a and I was like, yeah, a documentary could be made about this. I'll hop in it, give spill my little, getting 2 cents on it. From
Uh,
what time from when this situation happened, or when this situation happened, and that, and again, not saying that it will happen, but you just never know. And I kind of feel bad for the youngsters that's in that age range as being teenagers, that their experience is similar, but it's gonna be a lot different from when we came up. Hello?
Hello? All right, y'all.
Yeah.
I think close this out.
Okay.
It's 7 o'clock. I've been live streaming for a minute and went extra long because I don't really have time to like live stream like that like I used to. So I was off today, so I had time today. So anybody got any like final thoughts before I close this out? I think it was really good. I'm thanking everybody for showing up. It was extra long, but I like spending time with you guys and talking to everybody. And I love it. Yes, subscribe to everybody. Subscribe to Aaron, the gamer. So AMR.
Subscribe to James' channel. Subscribe to RPGT. Subscribe to Fader Jake. Subscribe. And I love y'all so much. So y'all got any final points? Or y'all good?
That's pretty much it for me.
Yeah.
Hopefully I didn't, talk hopefully
No,
I didn't want to,
funny.
necessarily didn't serve out too much lip service.
Oh, it was awesome. Thank you for joining. RPGT. You got any final points you want to say? Thank you for joining. It was unexpected.
I think he muted.
Oh, he's muted. Yeah. You see, he's probably doing something. But
Yeah, probably.
all right, y'all. I love y'all so much.
I love
Go
you.
ahead and end this. Yes. Love y'all.
Love y'all too.
Hold on, let me do my little emoji thing. Oh, there we go. Haha, my
Go
little
ahead.
emoji. My little cute emojis. Okay. Okay. Let me see if he ended it. Hold on. Do 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 do. Oh yeah. Did you end it? Yeah, go ahead and end it.